What's up and welcome back to Kinda Funny Superman in Review. That's right, we are ranking, recapping, and reviewing every single Superman movie. Of course, my name's Tim Geddes, and I'm joined today by Andy Cortez.
Hello.
Greg Miller.
I'm sorry this had to happen to you, Andy. It's like when you didn't like one answer, it was like, oh, it's not getting better. It ain't getting better.
And Nicholas Scarpino.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Do you have a jump set by any chance?
Fuck, man.
John Cryer,
I
man.
loved him, though. You know what I mean? Like, was the movie just that bad that I saw that thing and I'm like, I'm getting some joy out of this, Andy?
I'm breakdancing.
This is actually kind of cool.
Oh, man.
That man would go on to be Lex
Everybody.
Luthor.
God.
Supergirl, everybody.
Would he? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Supergirl CW.
Oh,
Ducky.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
That man. Everyone, this has been Kind of Funny's in Review, where each and every week we rank, review, and recap different movie franchises. Currently, we're making our way through Superman. We're going to go a little bit out of order, but next week you're getting a twofer, everybody. We got Jurassic World Rebirth. Is that the name of it?
Yes.
Jurassic World Rebirth.
Rebirth in review coming up next Monday, and then next Thursday, I want to say it is, Superman. The DCU begins with James Gunn in a cinematic fashion.
That's right.
Very exciting. So the new Superman
reset.
and Jurassic World Rebirth both will happen next week. And then we're doing Superman Returns to round out this series the week after that. Then it's time for Fantastic Four First Steps. Then we're going to do the Fantastic Four older movies after that. So a little bit different schedule than we normally do, but the next few weeks are going to be jam-packed and super fun. People are asking, what about Supergirl? We'll do Supergirl eventually when the Supergirl movie comes out.
Woman of Tomorrow.
Will we, though, actually? I don't know. Do we need to? Yeah,
Yes.
I guess we will.
Oh, what do you mean, do we need to?
I mean, after this, it's like,
Let
do
me
we
tell
really
ya,
need to?
That'll be a refreshing one for you.
Yeah?
Right? It's also
Okay.
not good, but is it this bad? Maybe, actually.
You're talking about the Helen Slater?
We are talking about the Helen Slater one.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, everybody. This is in review. Like I was saying, you can get it on podcast services around the globe.
He just
Of course, you
wants
can
all the
watch live.
rewards, but he doesn't want to put in the
He
work.
doesn't want to put the hard work
You know
in.
what I mean?
He's no Mark Pillow. That's
Why are we
Nuclear
putting in
Man's
work?
name.
Why can't they just be good?
Oh, man. You can watch this live on YouTube or Twitch. Of course, you can also be a Patreon producer, like our super cool friends here, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and James Hastings. Today, we're brought to you by Mood and Cash App, but we'll tell you all about that later.
Men.
It kind of looks like you right now, though, Andy. Look at, see the similarities?
I don't
No.
see- what?
All right. Give it back.
I mean, I wish I could help you, but no.
Today, we're talking about Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. This one had a runtime, thankfully, of 1 hour and 30 minutes.
It moves at least.
I don't know, man. I don't know that it did, but I was happy that I didn't have 45 minutes more like the other ones. This one had a release date of July 24th, 1987. The film also marks the final appearance of Reeve as Superman, who agreed to return in exchange for a large salary and some creative control, where he contributed to a script dealing with nuclear disarmament.
You know, you got to figure he regretted that decision pretty hard. Pretty hard. You know what I mean? Of when it just pops up and it's like, story by Christopher Reeve.
Tough
and some
one.
other guy.
Uh-oh.
And he was like, yeah, I want to do a thing about nuclear disarmament. Like, all right, let's make it just a horrible movie.
Directed by Sidney J. Fury, a Canadian director who directed the well-regarded kitchen sink drama The Leather Boys in
I'll never
1964, and the spy film The Ipcress File, starring Michael Caine, which won a BAFTA award for outstanding British film.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
I should BAFTA right there. Give it to me.
The music for this film was adapted and conducted by Alexander Courage, based on existing and new music composed by John Williams. Alexander, better known as Sandy Courage, an American orchestrator, arranger, and composer of music primarily for television and film. He's best known as the composer for the theme music of, Nick,
I have no idea.
the original Star Trek series.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Pretty cool. The budget of this one I found very interesting. Very, very, very interesting.
Well, this is where the problem starts.
There's a trend for these movies that is unlike most other in-review franchises that we've done. The first Superman, 55 million. The second, 54. The third, 39. And the fourth, this one, 17.
So let's talk, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs about Canon Films.
Canon Films.
Nick, would you like to start us off?
Well, you are a little bit more fresh on this than me, but Canon Films, if you're not familiar with Tim, was like the budget movie makers of the 80s and I think 90s, and by that point they started going out of business. They were the ones that made all of the superhero movies of the 90s that you think are the worst things ever. The Dolph Lundgren Punisher. They made
Masters
this film.
of the Universe.
They made Masters of the Universe. I believe they made a Spider-Man film in the late 70s, early 80s. That's just absolutely terrible. Notorious for somehow getting the rights to these things and then getting the distribution through studios and then just destroying the budget and using it for other movies and this and that. They made like hundreds of movies a year where the average studio would make like 25. They would make like 200 and they would just do crazy shit.
Nick years ago recommended the film documentary Electric Boogaloo, the story of Canon Films. And I watched part of it yesterday. I watched the intro to it and then jumped to the Superman 4 bits to get in there. And so, yeah, you have, I believe, this gentleman from overseas. I want to say
Menachem.
Israeli, yeah.
Yeah, they're Israeli.
And they were Israeli cinema, I guess, apparently, but they weren't making good movies. They were making knockoffs and all this other stuff. And so they eventually make this jump of wanting to bring stuff over here, and they're selling all this jet, blah, 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 blah. Eventually they get to the point we're talking about where, yeah, they're putting out movies and the next one's always going to be the next big thing. And the next one's always going to be the difference maker, right? And so the story goes that Cannes, the gentleman who ran Canon, bought the rights from the Salkins, who we all know well here, right? Because Superman 3 had flopped, right? Well, it made money, but it wasn't well received, right? Christopher Reeve was like, I'm over it. There was a whole bunch of different stuff. And the Salkins are eager to get out of it, I guess. They sell him the rights at Cannes. He sets off on this, and people are talking about it, and it's that idea of like, we're making a movie, and it's like the people they're talking to, which might have been the director, I forget, is like, I came on because we weren't going to make a Canon film, and we ended up making a Canon film. And I guess that was just like the rinse and repeat of the whole thing. And so what's interesting about Superman 4 from this perspective is that this was like them about to go out of business. And so this was going to be the one that saves the day, but then they greenlit it for like, I think it was $35 or $37 million. And then as they're like shooting it, cut the budget to 17, which is why shots are reused. Everything, the green screen looks terrible. Like they had the designer in the documentary who's like, I told them, if you want to look like the first movie, it's got to be this amount. And then they cut it. And so that's why we're where we are. And there's, I was reading the Wikipedia. There's, stuff from Chris Reeve and the director, talking about how they wanted to shoot the UN stuff in front of the UN in New York. And of course they didn't have the budget for it. So it's on a London street. It looks terrible. It doesn't do this thing. And it was one of Chris Reeve quote of like, Dick Donner, we would have been there. We would have done it. We would have made it real. That's just not how this production went or whatever.
Yeah. For context, just some movies that they have made that are near and dear to my heart.
Sure,
the Missing in Action series, of course, starring Chuck Norris. American Ninja starring, that's right, Michael Dudikoff. You'll remember him from our Pokemon Let's Play.
Dudikoff, oh wow.
And the 1988 movie Bloodsport starring Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Sick.
So they had a couple, they would always have like one movie that did well enough to like get their entire next slate going, but they were always just flying by the seats of their pants and just kind of this close to going out of business.
In the beginning, they were telling a story of like they would make the poster and sell the poster, and then have to make the movie.
That's
that
awesome.
the poster,
Wow.
you know what I mean?
It's
that
crazy,
kind of shit. Like,
crazy shit.
It was a lot of moving the shells and just having to keep going.
And yes, they did in fact do Electric Boogaloo and break into Electric Boogaloo. Like they did that series. That's why the documentary is called it. It's very, very, even if you have no idea contextually what these movies are, it is a great documentary just to see two dudes who are like, we're going to be producers in Hollywood. We have
Fake
no
it till we
fucking
make it,
idea how
and
we're
we
doing
just
that.
keep fucking
And
doing
they
it.
lasted a long time.
Yeah.
Wow. The box office also tells an interesting story. Number one made 300 million. Number two made 216 million. Number three, 80 million. And this one made 36 million.
Wow.
Off the 17
Double the
million
budget.
budget.
I
There you
appreciate as you start this film, you immediately are greeted with there is no budget behind this.
Oh, I don't
Opening credits are terrible. The music sounds like they're hitting the wrong notes, but they got one take at it. They got one take at it.
Dude, they're like, I had to roll it back because the song starts and I was like, first off, did you hire a high school marching band to record this? And second off, there are multiple trumpet flubs. Like flubs. Like we
straight
gotta
up.
stop and re-record, and they just let it roll.
I am so happy that we're talking about this. Yeah, because that was something I was like, what? How is this possible?
How
That's
is this
hilarious.
possible?
All right, let's get into our thoughts on this. Andy, I do want to start with you.
I mean, there's not a whole lot positive to say about this experience. I will say that I think I may have enjoyed it more than 3, but for me watching 3, I was more angry and annoyed at the things that they were trying to do and failed at, because I was like, why are you trying this thing? Don't try this thing in this type of movie. Like, it just doesn't work. So it was more of a, like, I'm mad at the direction of what's happening. This, it's like, especially after giving all the background that we got from Greg and Nick and you about the budget and just how this was kind of set up to not ever be successful, I was more laughing at the attempts of what they were trying to do, because I don't think this movie, like, I think this movie makes a lot of terrible decisions with characters, and like, characters just act in ways that don't make sense, but they need to push the plot along. So of course that character would say that, and you go, why would they ever want to do that or say that? But whatever, because we need the next scene to happen. And by the end of it, I was laughing a lot at the fight between Superman and Nuclear Man or whatever. Like, I thought it was hilariously bad. And that's more than I could say about part 3. Where part 3, I was just mad at, like, why are you doing this stupid slapstick shit? Stop this. And here I'm more laughing at, man, they're really trying to make this action sequence work, and it's just goofy as hell. The really bad, the moment where Gene Hackman's like, you sound just like me. I'm like, man, I guess I didn't even make that connection that it's the same voice or whatever.
I'm father now.
Yeah, like there's so many hilarious line readings and hilarious choices of writing. The movie's awful, and like, holy shit, this is shaping up to be one of the worst interviews for me. Where, like, not even part 1 I'm like fully sold on. Part 1 I'm like, yeah, I appreciate a lot what they're doing, but you know, this and this didn't work for me, and this is like, holy shit, this is in real awful territory for me.
Andy, I continue to echo your thoughts on this, where last week I was saying, like, 3 actively made 1 and 2 less good to me, and I feel like with 4 that continues that trend of, just the overall, my thoughts on the Christopher Reeve Superman universe. I'm like, oh no, I do not like this. The first one, there's a level of it being the first and classic that I'll give it props, but knowing all the behind the scenes stuff that you guys have even said, and just seeing how we get here, they don't respect this. Why should I respect this? You know? And with this one specifically, with 4, I feel like its biggest sin is just how derivative it is. How it is just such a, let's go back to things from the other movies again. Let's go back to Lex again. But it's just not even as good, or not even as bad as that was. Like, it's just worse than that. Like, I don't think it crosses the bar in any way. Like, every single thing I liked about any of the other movies, this one does worse. Anything that I didn't like about the other ones, this one has. And I just feel like the one thing I can give it is that the nuclear, like, story of, like, we need to work together as a world and get rid of all the nukes and stuff. Like, there's something there. The journalism aspect of it, like, there's something there, but they just swing and miss so hard. And I feel that for one of the first times, the, like, G. Willikers-ness of Clark kind of comes off as Superman being corny. Like, the other movies, like, yes, it's Superman and it's the Christopher Reeve look and all this stuff, like, it being corny, like, there's going to be a lot of that no matter what, just because he is the Boy Scout. He is, that's kind of part of the whole thing. But there's something about this movie just made it even more corny that, like, I just couldn't get behind it. And having the fight be just JPEGs against each other, like, there's just no excuse. Like, it feels like it lacks any level of artistry. And you guys talking about the canon film stuff, it's like, oh man, like, we did that to Superman. Like, how did we get here?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
I for so much of my life, I just always thought, you know, it's Spider-Man and MJ and Superman and Lois Lane, and like, I just thought that was always what it was, and I thought that they were always together and they were always a thing, and the fact that there's just been, like, none of that. It's been more of like Lois Lane and kind of with Superman, and And sure, there's like glimpses here and there with Clark. I just thought they were like a couple this whole time throughout all of these movies, and I would have like if you would have told me, Andy, what if I told you that like throughout all of these 4 movies, they were never really together in a big, meaningful way. It was always kind of like the will they, won't they, but all the she likes Superman way more.
The amount of memory wiping.
Like, dude, it's
so many
You
wiping.
don't even know my name, Kal-El. You remember? I remember everything. Well, now I'm gonna kiss the shit out of you, memory wipe.
so bizarre.
And then at the end, he's like, "So is she wiped though?" 'Cause,
Yeah.
something drew me here.
So she did
All
remember last
all
time. I
right,
don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, at least he rebuilt the Great Wall of China with his brain.
eyes. His eyes.
What was that? That was another laugh out loud moment where
Dude.
I've crossed the threshold with this one where, and maybe it was because I was watching it on company time, like that. Maybe that kind of lends into it. But I was
really
laughing a lot.
wasting Tim's money.
I
on
was
this.
laughing a lot more at those moments of being like, "This is so fucking dumb."
Yeah.
But with part 3, I was just like, "Stop doing the slapstick shit, man. This isn't Naked Gun."
And I'm kind of with you there, where like the Richard Pryor and the slapsticky stuff, it's like it's not good. And then this one, it's like, yeah, it's so bad that you're kind of laughing at it. We'll have to wait till the end because I don't know where I rank it. I don't know. I don't know which one like bothers me more.
Yeah.
But there is something about this that I will say, it's not so bad. It's fun to laugh at enough. Like there's a couple moments here and there, but even for an hour and a half runtime, I think that's the thing is like this movie, the hour and a half runtime didn't even help.
I don't want you to think I was like smiling through the whole thing. It was just like a few moments that I actually laughed at, as opposed to part 3 where like I was just like, I hate this. I hate what's happening throughout all of this.
Nicholas Scarpino.
Yeah, I mean the movie's not great. There is, excuse me, there are touches of a really beautiful film in here somewhere, and you can see like the Smallville stuff when he's there, and the photography that they do there. I think some of the movie actually looks like some of the best cinematography in the entire Superman series because I'm saying like specific shots, right?
Okay.
Him with the realtor, him like on the streets, like a lot of it because we're starting to get like this is 1988, right? It's not the end of the 70s anymore. It's like we're getting like nice visuals here. But then, man, the second time we see him coming toward the camera, you're really like, wow, this is just feels cheap. And it's crazy to me that the Canon Film guys were like willing to do this with a property like Superman, especially since they think that they were like, they I guess I don't know if this is true or not, and maybe they talked about it in the documentary, but I saw a piece of trivia saying that they had a longer cut of this film.
Yes.
Which is why it makes a lot more sense when you see him at the end and he looks like he's dying of radiation with his hair
like
falling
45 minutes of deleted scenes.
That was so bizarre.
But Canon Films thought they had such a big hit on their hands that they cut it down to 90 minutes so they could do more screenings. And so there's some level of disconnect of them trying to save money, but also like trying to invest in this that just didn't make any sense. And it really, really shows. And it's just sad because this could have been, I don't know that this ever would have been a great movie, but this could have been a really fun Superman movie.
Yeah.
Because it's Superman fighting Superman for all intents and purposes. And they have sort of some level of powers that are different, even though I really wish that, I don't think, you're seeing that in the 80s and 90s, like nobody understood that you needed to define someone's powers so that you could have someone else have opposite powers, so that they could have to learn something to overcome them. So they all just have these bonker gonzo powers and stuff like that. But I always liked the scene between them because I was like, oh, it's Superman versus Superman, right? Like he gets pounded into all the stuff on the moon I always thought was really cool. But then randomly, it's just so all over the place that it stops making any sense about, I would say, an hour into it. And you just shut your brain off and you go, how many times can John Cryer be in this film?
Not enough. That's the answer.
Before I just go, I don't even know what movie we're watching anymore. It's very bad and it's sad. And the only good thing that I can say, and I have nothing to base this off of, but I thank this movie for existing because it came out in 1988. Is that correct?
Yes,
I believe so. And Greg, what came out in
87?
What came out in 1989?
Batman.
So at least this movie, to some degree, got us to Batman. And that's all I can thank it for.
Yeah. Thank you for your service. Quest for Peace. Greg Miller, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm very sorry.
No, it's like, it's a multifaceted issue here. Superman 4 is a bad movie. No one is arguing that. I think what's funny is in the lead up to it, like Sunday night, I told Jen, all right, tonight we got to watch Superman 4. And she groaned. And she's like, yeah, all right. And I'm like, well, remember, this is worse than 3. Like, and she's like, oh my God, don't make me do this. This is the first time I think in a while she's tapped out of an interview. I'm like, I'll watch it tomorrow at work. She's like, wait though, but like, so you were reading comics before this, and that's why you love Superman. Like, I'm like, oh no, like, it's like, when did you start reading? I'm like, well, after this. She's like, it's shocking that you enjoyed these 4 movies came out and you love Superman as much as you love Superman. And I think it's interesting to try to rewind it. Try to rewind it and look at it through an eye
So
of
different.
a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old,
Totally. Yeah.
where it's like Superman does Superman stuff in this.
Dude, I
Superman
love
the
Mortal
movie.
Kombat Annihilation as a kid.
Superman the movie, right, is a great movie, is a great film, I think. But obviously, as a kid, you just want Superman to go fucking be Superman, and you don't get a lot of that here or there. Whereas here and 3, right, 3 opens with Eiffel Tower shit. This one, he's stopping trains and putting his foot down. He's saving cosmonauts and he's speaking other languages, and it's like, oh man, it's like he's doing Superman shit. It's a living cartoon, and it doesn't look good. It looks like an episode of Lois and Clark for all intents and purposes, right? But you could see where this would have that draw to it for kids. But then to sit here, as much as I harp on Superman the movie ruining generations of Superman fans, right? Like, to your point, Tim, you look at how this film treats the films that have come before and the things that have been established and throws it out the window and doesn't take itself seriously. So why should we take it seriously? Like, it was doomed to fail because, again, like it or not like it, but like Superman 1 and Superman 2 to a degree, Richard Donner was trying to make you believe a man could fly. He was trying to make a good motion picture that happened to be a Superman movie as well. And I think that really shined through. Whereas beyond that, it was, we have money sign in our eyes. How do we get more fucking Superman stuff out there for people to buy and enjoy?
It's toys. This movie feels like toys more than the other ones, which is saying something because the other ones did too.
Yeah.
Toys the movie?
No, like, just let's sell toys. Like, let's just, let's have.
So this is a super disappointing film. Obviously, as an adult, as a kid, it was whatever. Again, Nuclear Man, that's cool. He's picking up Statue of Liberty, neat. You know what I mean? Like all that shit, right? Yeah.
One of my favorite things is the scene of him going,
Yeah. And like Superman flying, just drop the Statue of Liberty, beat this guy's ass.
The nails just reminded me of that, when everybody gets superpowers. Family Guy. Meg.
Yeah. Terrible. So yeah, a bad movie.
Yeah. I'm going to ask this here just because I don't want to forget.
Please.
And we can have a bigger conversation as a group later if we like when we're done with all the Supermans. We'll add this. But just I want to know from you right now, Greg.
Hi, how are you?
So far, let's just say these movies go in the order that they're released in terms of their quality.
Sure.
Right? Where do you put Man of Steel?
Oh, wow. What a great question. We're not doing Man of Steel in this review.
No. We might get to, like, just for fun, we'll have all our answers when we're done with everything.
Well, now, you brought up quality, which I think then gets really interesting as well. Because I think it's, for me, Man of Steel's quote-unquote problems are content more than quality. I think it's a quality film. It's obviously gorgeous. It's been well shot, great soundtrack, yada, yada, yada. I would say for me, not having watched Man of Steel in a while, I'm open. You guys want to do it, just put it in here. Why not? You know what I mean? I'd probably put it at number 2, but maybe number 3, depending. So I'd go Superman the movie, Man of Steel, Superman 2, but maybe Superman the movie, Superman 2, Man of Steel. I'd like a rewatch of Man of Steel to tell you exactly. But I think it's got a fighting thing. Again, like, Man of Steel, I'll never forget going to that screener during E3, sneaking away when it was. You worked till 3 a.m. in the war room, but I snuck away for a WB screening. Saw it with Napoleon Dynamite. Weird. And
you saw a double feature of Man of Steel and Napoleon Dynamite?
The actor from Napoleon Dynamite, Napoleon Dynamite was there.
John Heater.
Yeah, I watched it. His brother works in video games, so he was there for that.
Nice.
And I remember the next day coming into the war room and Rich George from IGN Comics walking up and going, "How was it?" And I went, "It's good." And he goes, "Oh my God, that means it's terrible." You know what I mean? Like, if you don't love it. And it was like such an alternate Superman take, which I love. I'm not against that. Back to a conversation with Jen, with us looking at all the Superman movies on the screen, right? When she was like, we're going through and I was trying to explain where we were, and it was 87 and then 2006 for Superman Returns. She's like, it was 20 years? And I'm like, yes. And keep in mind that during those 20 years, I am finally of age. I'm not a child. Like, I was like, so excited to see a Superman movie in theaters. So excited to see a new Ghostbuster. Like, I'm in this drought where I see all these other heroes start to take off and my guy doesn't get it. So to finally get Superman Returns and have that not be the Superman motion picture I would have wanted. To finally get Man of Steel, and they're like, we're throwing everything away. Because remember, it's going to be confusing to next week go to Superman and then come back to Superman. Remember that Superman Returns is a direct sequel to Superman 2. Like, they Superman 3 and 4, they were like, don't pay attention to that. Don't worry about it. We're a sequel to Superman 2. So a lot of the stuff that I don't like about how powerful Superman is, because it's he rewound time. That's still here. It's like, that fucking sucks. So to walk into Man of Steel and like those fucking trailers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the greatest trailer ever made.
To walk in there
up.
and watch this movie and be like, oh, they're doing a lot of really interesting things here. You know what I mean? I'll never forget being in the theater and Lois is put it together. We talk about Margot Kidder and her chemistry, sure, but never nailing that she is Lois Lane, the #1 reporter on the planet. Man of Steel, Lois Lane, Amy Adams is able to fucking trace back to the Kents. She's in the graveyard, and Clark comes up behind her with the cap on and is like, why are you trying to try? It's like, holy shit, what an inspired thing to do. And for me, that was really one of those first moments of like, oh, we're rocking the axis of what it is. Clearly, he won't also then go back and put glasses on, but wait for the final scene. Like, what the fuck? But it's like, in terms of a quality movie and what they were doing, and again, we're back into is it what I would do with the Superman movie? Is it what I want? No. But I think in terms of the quality of the picture, sure.
Crazy to think that Superman Returns would not have drawn me to a theater. Like the comic book movies in 2006 was X-Men: The Last Stand, and that's kind of about it. You have 300, which isn't necessarily your traditional like comic book heroes or whatever. But I'm just so blown away that movie is as old as it is.
Yeah.
Like, I think that when in my headcanon, when Superman Returns comes out, we'd already had a lot of, good to awesome Marvel movies by that point.
Yeah.
It's a much an older movie than I thought it was.
I love this conversation. We do need to put a cork in it, otherwise you're going to unleash me here, and I have plenty to say.
Let's cork it for now.
Like, do we want to I'd love to know where you think Man of Steel goes. You seem surprised by my reaction.
I mean, no, again, this is, no, I was surprised, and then I was thinking about the wrong way. I thought that when you said 3, for some reason, I thought you were saying that you think that Superman 3 is better than Man of Steel.
No,
really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this is a 2 or
You're putting
3.
it behind 1 and 2. I feel like that's the safest answer. I don't know that I agree.
You think it goes in
actually.
front?
Here's my thing. I want to save this till we've seen all the Superman movies, and I do want to think about it more and actually
please
get into it. But I feel that I don't care about Superman. I don't know Superman. I don't care about what they got wrong and all that stuff. So I'd put Man of Steel #1 so far.
I think I'm probably there too.
But that's just because I don't know, or really, it doesn't matter to me the things they didn't nail,
See, this in review has been awesome. Thank you all for joining me on the ride and letting me have this, Tim. But like,
been a pleasure to be here.
You hated it actually. But
great time.
Superman the movie, I think I have a even greater appreciation for that film after this in review of just like, man, Krypton stuff, the Smallville stuff, the Metropolis stuff. And again, who is it? My Superman? Is it this? All these things to get worried about. I just think when I think of Man of Steel and I start comparing it to Superman and the movie, and I know this is a stupid thing, but like I think of like the IHOP scene of like, we're fighting outside the IHOP, we're in the IHOP, we have this look at Pete, and it's like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like I didn't love that, and I'm not just throwing it out because of that, but I'm saying like Superman the movie, I watched 40 years, 50 years, whatever it was, 78 to
78.
Yeah. So what is that? 50 years?
Yeah.
50 years. Fuck. Later, and it's like I was still like I had a sense of wonder from that movie. Whereas Man of Steel, I enjoy as a picture, but I wasn't like.
And that's the thing too is like scenes are different than movies, right?
Of course.
It's like when I think of these movies, like God, him flying in Man of Steel scene, like putting his hand down and it, like
the vibration.
That's Superman to me. That doesn't matter because Superman doesn't mean much to me. But but to your point, I do really appreciate Superman the movie. Like I feel like it. I said this a couple weeks ago, and I stand by it. Like I gave and continue to give the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 1 movie so much credit for being like the originator of so many things that we now know as like just classic tropes or storytelling bits or whatever. And it's like, damn, in the 70s, Superman did a lot of stuff that I didn't realize it did first. So
that's my thing is like you go back and I'm going to echo Greg's sentiment. Like I would have bet dollars to donuts that Superman 2 would have been my #1 on this. But going back and watching Superman 1, there's a specialness to it. And there's a lot of moments in it that I remember like just really being heartfelt or like hype moments that you would expect from Man of Steel and are almost there in Man of Steel. So there's just no excuse for why Man of Steel wouldn't be #1. It doesn't, but it doesn't. And that was always the disappointing aspect of the Snyderverse in general and also the Raimiverse. Like they have no excuse. They should be the #1s by a mile, but it's not. It's not because it's just missing the mark in certain aspects of it. Not to say, and I've said this before, I love Man of Steel. I think it's a fun ass movie to watch. but I like it so much that I'm mad that it's not great.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
needs
That's
to
fair.
be
That's a
fucking
great
great,
way. That's a
right?
great way to put it.
And so you go back and like from a nuts and bolts standpoint, yeah, of course, Man of Steel is a better fucking movie. They actually fly and it's believable and it looks great and they have a great fight between him and Zod. But you get to the end of that and you go, was it more or less fulfilling than a movie that was made in 1978? And I think it's even. And so for me, I think the first one would go a notch above it because it was made fucking 30 or 40 years prior to this, with no technology and all heart and all just people wanting to make this like Chris Reeves just wanting to figure out how to fucking fly.
I'm not trying to say that I liked Superman, the first Superman, more than Alien or Terminator. But the reason why I rank it so high, it's similar to those, is because of the movie magic aspect of it.
Yeah.
And you mentioning Dick Donner saying you'll believe a man can fly. I love all of the way that they trick the audience visually, and it just reminds me of like, man, when these movies were made back in the day, they had to do they thought of so many different solutions to try to make the audience believe, and I love it for that the most. But also, there's like such an earnestness to Christopher Reeve in that movie that I just really I vibe with the character there a lot more, and started enjoying it much less with the gee Willinger. I just kind of got really tired of that.
Yeah. We're going to continue to talk a lot about Superman, Christopher Reeve, and Man of Steel and everything on Superman in Review. But we're going to talk about the plot to this movie, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, right after a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Cash App. We've all had those moments getting meals out with people that always end in some kind of awkward experience of having to figure out the least complicated way to just get it done. Or even after figuring it out, have you used an app and ended up having to wait days for your money to finally show up? What if we could solve all of that easily? Cash App is a completely different experience, fast, easy, and safe, and a great way to receive and transfer money to family and friends. It's incredibly easy to set up. You just enter your phone or email and some other basic information, no bank account needed, and then there's no waiting around for days. It's your money, you shouldn't have to wait. We love using Cash App because it's fast, it's safe, and it just makes life way less stressful. For a limited time only, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, there's no catch. Just download Cash App and sign up. Use our exclusive referral code, Kinda Funny, in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. This episode is brought to you by Mood. Let me tell you about the online cannabis company that's revolutionizing how we deal with life's challenges. From sleepless nights to stress-filled days. Mood.com has created an entire line of functional gummies that target specific health concerns with 100% federally legal THC blends. They'll deliver them discreetly right to your doorstep, and you can get 20% off your first order at Mood.com with promo code Kinda Funny. I've been having a great time trying out all their different gummies, and I'm loving how each one feels. Their Sleepy Time gummies will knock you out in about 15 minutes flat. No hangovers, no grogginess, and their Epic Euphoria gummies are perfect for those days when nothing's going right. And best of all, not only does Mood stand behind everything with an industry-leading 100-day satisfaction guarantee, but as I mentioned, listeners get 20% off their first order with code Kinda Funny. So head to Mood.com, browse their amazing selection of functional gummies, and find the perfect gummy for whatever you are dealing with. And remember to use promo code Kinda Funny at checkout to save 20% on your first order.
Andy hates these movies. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. As I mentioned earlier, we start with some credits. Just feel like the cheapest shit of all time. They're so cheap. Like Andy just did a better rendition of the song than they played during this thing, Nick.
Man, it looks like SNL is parodying like a Superman movie with these credits. They're so bad.
And with them being so long, I was like, maybe this hour 30-minute movie is about an hour 22.
But here's
Skip forward a little bit.
These are moments where I just go to myself like, man, I wish I was alive back then and working with these guys. Because I'd be like, how much does this credit taken cost? Like, don't even do it. Just start the movie. You don't need it. Like this, what did that cost you? $100 grand?
Gotta get that Canon film out there. Gotta get all. I'm sure the Salkins needed something out there. I'm sure. Again, Christopher Reeve got a boatload of money for this. He got the story credit because he's like, he didn't want to do this. The creative control, all that jazz. And so, like, you got to probably put all that. Gene Hackman, of course, infamously didn't want to come back for any of them, right?
I was
Comes back
shocked
here.
to see him back.
Me too.
Shocked.
Me too.
And I feel like it's. I mean, I'm reading in. It's not a good film. But like, I feel like he's half-assing this. Like it isn't the same. Luther. It felt like the first time around. This one feels a lot like he's just like, I'm just doing this to get the paycheck, and I. Blah, blah,
And still a lot of Luthor being said. I feel a lot more justified and vindicated throughout all these movies because there's still plenty of Luther, but there's a lot of Luthor as well.
Yeah. I guess that too at one point for a little behind the scenes at something like John Cryer tells the story of Christopher Reeve like pulling him aside on set and be like, this movie's bad. He's like, don't worry about it. It's bad. Like, you know what I mean? They're going to have to overcome. Don't worry.
Thank God John Cryer had, 2.5 Men?
2.5 Men?
After this, revitalized his career. Christian Reeve never got it.
This is obviously post all the Brat Pack stuff. And, John Hughes.
Well, he wasn't really, he was Brat Pack adjacent.
Yeah, he was Ducky and stuff. He was in the John Hughes stuff.
I'll never
What's
forget.
going on with your voice? What's going on?
My God, I ran it down.
fucking
over
partied
the weekend.
last
How many
night.
vapes?
You should have come to the movie with
the
us.
fucking vapes, Nick.
Wait, are you serious? I was just joking.
Why you gotta blow up my spot, Andy?
I think about Nick, and I don't like. It's Nick, so he says things. And you're like, I don't know if he's being true or not. Like, I don't fucking know. But yesterday was it? Nick walks in and he's like, I gotta stop vaping. And it's like, are you vaping? Like, what are you?
Maybe a little bit. I had
I
had shows over the weekend, and it's less that and more that this. I for whatever reason, when you're done with a comedy show, the venue wants everyone out, and so what do? They blast music as loud as humanly possible, which never stops anyone from wanting to leave the place.
Really?
They always want to come up to the headliner and say, "Great job," and then if you're standing there, they feel obligated to talk to you also. So all fucking weekend, I'm screaming over the top over this music that's like, whatever stupid ironic song that's like "Get Out Now" or whatever. And I'm like, by Sunday, I'm like, I can't fucking talk anymore. And then I hit a vape a couple times. And now my throat is so like fucking raw.
I thought they would have turned the music down to push you out.
No, they.
Then you can have a conversation and let her do that.
No, they just blast it, and it's just like, I know who I wanna take me home. Take me home. It's always that song.
Closing time.
Closing time.
This is opening time, though. We got through the bad credits, we got through the bad music, and we're up in space where a man is singing "My Way" by Frank Sinatra, but in Russian. As he works outside.
It's a worldwide endeavor.
Thought this would have been a little callback later on. Like, I don't know. I just thought, like, hear the music, music Frank Sinatra in the first act.
Yeah,
come back. I thought they'd use it again. Later
Something
on.
like when he's collecting all the missiles, and it's like,
I was like, there has to be a reason for this,
Well, I think the reason is just
Sinatra's
like
awesome.
it's familiar but Russian.
Yeah,
I thought to me it was like Christopher Reeve doing like, I'm doing it my way. I wrote this shit.
I think Sinatra.
An old piece of space junk looking like a capsule hurtles in and fucking knocks Cosmonaut Sinatra off the thing. The ship starts to spin and go crazy. And of course, here comes Superman. Superman just flies out. He's out there in space. He just got done smiling at the end of the last film, apparently. Here he is. Flies in. I love it. Like, obviously, we're going to talk about how much the filmmakers don't understand space, which is fun. But
there's lots of wind in space.
it's not even that. It's like Superman with his infinite strength goes up and grabs the ship to stop it from spinning in like strains. Like, there'd be no weight. I could grab it and stop it very easily. Probably. And he flies off. He gets the cosmonaut. He brings him back. He suggests singing inside. And he's all waving. He flies back down. Yeah, dos vidanya. From there, I forgot all about this scene because I haven't seen Superman for forever. We go down to Smallville. Right, of course. The Kent farm is being sold as Superman 3 just threw out. Martha's dead. She died somewhere between Superman 1 when he sent her money to now she's dead. And in this
Think about all the
movie,
money he's saving, though.
oh my God.
Now he can finally buy that Cadillac he's always wanted.
Or a whole bunch of different weird college pennants that he has up in his room. We'll talk about that when we get to that scene. I'm like, why does Superman have any of this shit and a toy robot by the fireplace? Doesn't matter for right now, but it will.
Happy birthday, Polly.
Happy birthday, Polly.
Superman is Clark now with no glasses. The the house is being sold. So he's feeling very reminiscent, looking at where his dad died. I assume Martha died inside picking green beans or whatever. He goes into the barn, throws open the thing. His spaceship's there with the green crystal in there.
Why is the green crystal there, Greg?
Because
did it make its way back?
It needs to. Yeah, at some point, Clark said it needed to be reunited out of the Fortress of Solitude and brought it back over here and put it here. Even though, again, it's like, didn't that? Because Laura's voice comes out and starts talking about the fact of like
so many recordings.
Here's this
in
thing, and it's
franchise.
this thing, and then here's this thing, and it's like it's the ship that brought you in there. Okay, we're hearing the old replay, and then now there's this line in there of like, oh no, but like this has the power of you're gonna be this can give you Krypton's power one last time, and I was like, didn't we do this?
Wasn't that the whole
end
point
of
of
Superman 2 made it seem like when he came back, he used that crystal already to do it. But again, as Tim pointed out, these movies don't respect their own canon, so who the fuck cares? Clark's like, I got this. This is pretty fucking cool. And he puts it in his pocket, but then he hears something with his super. He looks outside. It's this fucking realtor coming up or whatever. So he takes the crystal and then he stares at the ship and just it makes it disintegrates it, makes it invisible, sends it to another dimension. Nobody really knows, but he stares at it and it goes away.
I'll say this.
A well-known Superman power.
I'll say this. These movies at least kind of keep me on my toes.
Yeah.
I'm one to zone out.
Sure you are.
I'm one to bust out the phone, and I'm definitely one to always rewind what I just missed. That's why I will often watch sequences 4 or 5 times in a row because I'm like, God damn, I missed that piece of dialogue again.
Yeah.
God damn it, you know? But this movie makes so many weird decisions, like this crystal thing where I go, what did I miss? I must have missed something, and you don't.
I'm so right there with you, Andy. Like, one of the notes I wrote down somewhere around here, it was like after we get to Lex in prison, but like everything up to that, it's like this movie is a mess. It's just scene after scene. Like, what's happening? These scenes don't feel connected. It just this thing happens, and then this thing happens, and then this thing happens. But like, it's not like there's a flow chart to it. It's just like disparate scenes.
I know we're getting a little spoiler, but when he is old and weird looking,
You can spoil
decaying,
this movie.
yeah, okay. Well, I know we're gonna talk about that later, but because it goes to this point. Once we got to that point where Superman is decaying and looking weird, I was like, it's not my fault. This doesn't have to do with me. This
No.
isn't something I missed.
No.
Makes no sense.
It's here for no
Makes no
reason.
sense.
Yeah.
He's sick.
How about the
sick.
How about the 5 seconds where Nuclear Man becomes obsessed with Merrill Hemingway,
Oh my god.
and then
Save
it's just
it.
that's the whole
Just
fucking
save
plot.
it. Just save it. He knows how to
Fucking
go
music
right to
cues,
the
they're
fucking planet.
so
He knows to go there.
Yeah, this guy who's
Just
was
bad
born
was
yesterday.
when Doomsday in the comic hears a wrestling promotion say Metropolis. Then when he's fighting Superman, looks up at his sign and goes Metropolis, and it says 50 miles away. And Superman's like, he's pieced it together. Fucking Jesus Christ on some of this shit. Clark won't sell the family farm to a big developer. He wants somebody in 1987 to come in here and farm. Mr. Hornsby tries to tell him nobody wants to fucking farm. And then we get a little aside
By the
dialogue
way,
here.
This farm, I don't know a lot about farms, but I love that they were like, let's make every effort to make this look like a real working farm. It doesn't look pleasant. It doesn't look like the
Why
kind
would
of
anybody
place
want to buy this? Yeah.
you would want to exist or
and it's
live.
dilapidated as shit.
Yeah, it looks like shit. And
Clark, fly the fuck down there on a Sunday afternoon and paint the
And just
goddamn
clean
house
some
for Martha.
shit
It
up,
takes out
dude.
3 seconds.
yeah,
You could
it's
use
bad.
your eye. You put back the
Yeah.
Great Wall of China, you know?
Right? Is this interfering with human history?
I do love, the kind of push and pull here of Clark being like, yeah, I don't know. I do want to I want to sell it to a farmer, and the other guy being like, nobody wants a farmer.
Nobody
Nobody's
wants
doing that shit anymore, Clark. But anyway, yeah, your father did this and that. And then like Clark being like, no, but for real, like I don't want
Yeah,
to.
we have to decide, right, where it's the broken crib. Jonathan was such a jokester. He said Clark must have had a bad dream and kicked through it. That was funny. I like that.
I like that.
And then, hey, how about I found this baseball. Why don't you give it to your fucking grandkids? Thanks. Why don't you let me pitch it you? And he does it, and he goes down like a idiot,
Zing.
right? And then he gets up, and he does it. But for real, Mr. Hornsby, I don't want to sell it. All right, Clark. And then he leaves, and like he's not even out of the fucking driveway, and Clark's like, let's hit some dingers.
Chicks dig the long ball.
Space.
Knocks his ball into fucking space.
So there's now a football and a baseball just floating around in space forever.
Yeah. That would have been awesome if it would knock the cosmonaut off the fucking ship with the football. There you go, Canon Films. There would have been a fucking movie for you.
Death
From
to
there,
America.
we go to the one, the only, the Chain Gang. Luthor is working in a fucking goddamn quarry with a bunch of other convicts all together. He's whistling Mozart. Everybody's making fun of him. He's again no Otis, boo. No Otis to hear, but he's still just telling all his plans of being the greatest criminal mastermind of our generation. And now he's again Lex Luthor in this universe, a genius across the board in every way. How do you know he is? Because he tells you. And then he has these harebrained schemes, and he also has amazing both underground and now above ground places we'll get to. Tells everybody this, but he goes from, I'm so smart, I'm going to do the greatest real estate swindle of all time, to I'm going to create life. I'm going to create life.
Figured it out.
I am generations ahead of these 1987 scientists, even though I've been working here in the chain gang, and I figured out how to clone somebody. I'm going to do a clone long before Dolly was cloned, everybody. All right, we didn't even know. We would have laughed you out of the room if you said Dolly was getting cloned right now, Tim, okay?
Yeah, man. Don't say Dolly one more time.
Don't say Dolly. Loose stew.
Who's Dolly?
The sheep. Yeah, the first sheep that was
okay.
ever cloned. He says all this shit, and then what happens? This obnoxious convertible drives in with Lenny written on the side, and it's the one, the only Ducky himself, John Cryer, aka Lex Luthor from the future Supergirl Arrowverse. If you want to toss that up, Kevin, I put in, of course, to assets, an amazing image, of course, him and Tom Welling on the Smallville set when the Crisis on Infinite Worlds happened in the
That's
Arrowverse.
him?
That's him. That's yeah. I could have got you, but I wanted to make sure Tom Welling was in the shot. Sorry, so this is what I sent out there.
Yeah.
But that's John Cryer in the back there is Lex Luthor. Yeah.
Holy hell. Is he a character
Oh man, Lenny?
in the comics?
To my knowledge, not back then. No, I mean at this point, I'm sure somebody's done something stupid where they put him because Nuclear Man has become. I think it was Bendis they challenged. He's like, I'll fucking put him in there.
I'll figure it out.
He gave a page of.
So hold on. So let's start there. Actually, Nuclear Man, not a Superman villain.
No.
Wow.
No. This
Really?
This was all invented for this. Yes.
That
yes.
sucks. I am so sorry, Greg.
Yeah, I think contextually, just so everyone knows, Pretty in Pink had come out in 1986, and that's like the John Cryer movie. That's the one he's talking about where he plays the character Ducky. And so John Cryer, I remember seeing him like, oh, it's Ducky from the like he was a thing.
Totally why they put him in there. Let's get the youth.
Let's
get
the
the
youth.
youth in here to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
And then remember when he played? Have you guys ever seen the movie Hiding Out?
No.
This is a little John Cryer gem where he is an accountant for the mob, I think. or
The
a
face
finance
you're
guy
making
for the
means that
mob.
you're ashamed of it that you watched this.
I'll just tell you the plot of this movie, and you guys can tell me if this is an appropriate film to have made in 1987. John Cryer has to go undercover, or not undercover. He has to go like witness protection or whatever, because he's hiding out from the mob because he's like a mob accountant or whatever it is. So he goes back to high school, falls in love with the senior in high school,
Here we go.
beats the mob or whatever, and then goes and finds her when she's in college as a freshman, and then dates her. It's not a good movie.
No.
Yeah,
no,
the 80s, man. It was wild
The
back
80s,
then.
Very different back then. Very, very different.
Oh, no.
Cryer drives in. The guards come over. You're in the wrong neck of the woods, Sonny. He's trying to get to Grand Rapids, Cedar Rapids.
You've seen the surround sound?
I saw it in a magazine. You got to get in here. And then it's
So
just
you
another this slapsticky bullshit of like seats back, this, that. And the guy's like, oh, you have fucking guns and nightsticks.
This was insane.
You
Yeah.
can't listen to the sound with the windows up. You gotta have the windows down. It's so bizarre to have like just these little horns sticking out. facing you. It makes,
yeah.
Oh my god.
So then they do it, and then they drive it off, and they kill these people, but they're not dead, of course. They come up to save you from the rated R brutal
Yeah.
killing or
Yeah.
whatever, you know what I mean? They're still alive. Lenny runs over, busts Lex out. I did like the line of like, he's like, did I do good or whatever? And he's like, Lenny, I've always considered you the Dutch elm disease of our family tree. I'm like, that's pretty cute. But again, he just doesn't have the fucking
Yeah.
pop of Superman 1 for Gene Hackman here. Understandable, you know what I mean? And of course, he sets it up that he's here to destroy Superman. Which will be repeated ad nauseum for quite some time. From there, we're back to Metropolis. Clark is on the street, cutting through, almost gets hit by another cab, but doesn't. Goes down into the subway where we find Lois practicing her French.
Out loud on the train.
Yeah, to just random strangers and all this other stuff. Clark doesn't get in time. The doors close. Ha ha. Oh, Clark Kent. Train rolls out. You're like, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Is it a villain? No, man just has a heart attack. Just keels over. And
Okay.
Lois is the only one who notices they're doing help. Superman does his little run, into the thing, right out of the thing, flies down, flies past all these people again. Nobody reacts.
They thought they did something with this shot. They fucking followed this man. We see the shot open, and I was like, "Oh my god!" They really are about to have him fucking run and go into the car and come out. And I was like, "There's no way they're actually going to do it." And they did, and it just looked so stupid. This goes back to me being like derivative stuff. Like we've now seen him go into cars. I didn't like it the other times.
Isn't that though? Is it? This isn't that yet.
Oh, is it not?
Yeah, it's
Whatever.
the
That's
UN is
hilarious.
when he changes into.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
How did
That
Lois?
scene bothered
How
me.
did Lois know?
They
going a little too fast.
they cut outside of them blowing by stops. I got a book
So
about
the train
Tom.
driver, heart attack. We got to stop it.
She just knew something was wrong with the train. All right, it's very similar to I have a Thomas the Train Engine book I read to Ben, where Thomas one day is like, I'm not going to make the stops. I'm going to see how fast I can do it, and people get really mad at that first station. Anyways, Lois gets scared. She calls out for help. Clark hears. He changes to Superman, flies at the thing, flies past the window, which I did like, and Lois looks outside and she knows it's going to be okay.
Great shot.
Great shot. He gets in front of it, puts out his hands, and he's like, you know what? It just stomps on the third rail to absorb all the electricity, and then come to a nice little stop.
This is another shot
Is that what was
I wrote down.
happening?
Yeah.
I thought he was putting out electricity.
No. Third rail kill you. If you or I touch the third rail, we're dead.
Don't be stupid.
Superman does it. It interrupts the current, slows the train down, so he doesn't have to smash the train.
This is actually not terribly edited sequence, with the exception of one shot. So the way it looks, and I'm a sucker for this. I'm a sucker for Lois Lane in trouble on some sort of vehicle that is out of control, looking over and just seeing a flash of the red blue go by, and knowing, and you just see it in her eyes, everything's gonna be okay. And then we cut to the same fucking shot of Superman flying at the camera again, and then we cut to our awesome moment of him landing and like stop and doing that. I'm like, just cut that shot out. How did the editor not be like, hey, dude, we just don't need to keep cutting to the same shot? It's so bad.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure Candid Film said, no, you do. We paid for Chris Reeve.
It's just like, dude.
I want to give a shout out to Graveyard Disco, who says his name is Thomas the Tank Engine. How dare you? I apologize, but I also don't. I love that this comes from you and you have a train emoticon in front of your name.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Like, I don't understand.
Type train.
Is that what it is? I was like, I just like that he's so into trains. So he stops the train. Superman gets up, and I love, rather than rip the door off, just presses the open button, which makes sense, but it's just so ridiculously Superman hit the little button. It opens. He steps into the man who's had a heart attack or whatever, looks at him, steps back on, and goes, he'll be all right. I think he needs a doctor. Well, first off, is he all right, Superman, or does he need a doctor?
Take him to the doctor.
Why don't you run him the fuck out of there? Instead, he steps out and he starts leaving. He's like, hey, you know what?
Everybody stop.
People liked my stupid speech in the first movie about air travel because that was really funny and that was cool. Now I'm going to do it about subways.
Yeah.
But he literally he's like, I think he might need a doctor. And then as the paramedics are coming, he's like, everyone stop for a second. Let me just explain to you that the subways are still very, very safe.
Superman, it's a life and death seconds count here. We need to get to this man.
Shit like this, you're like, I don't think I like Superman in this movie. I think he's kind of an asshole.
It reminds me of the tuxedo mask meme. My work here is done. You haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Just him explaining of the virtues of train travel. It's just like, why?
Where's
Doesn't
it
work.
Does anyone want something?
I mean, we're about to get to Lacey. I thought you'd have something to tell me about her.
Cut the commercial or something.
I love it. I love that. Like
Mariel Hemingway. I feel like you're gonna have something to say.
He's gonna pee. He's gonna pee and get a liqueur. Is that okay?
All right, gonna miss the introduction of Mariel.
Well, we'll talk about it throughout the movie.
All right, fine. Have your day. No, go.
In my hand.
This is a great stopping point because we're in between scenes. I mean,
I think we usually just go to the restroom. I've never, I just love.
I feel like you'd have something to say. I think you'd have something to say about Mariel Hemingway.
All right, let's talk about her. Why is she in this fucking movie?
Well, if you remember,
reels though.
Christopher Reeve humorously? Not humorously. After he had passed away. Thank you very much. Yeah, I knew that wasn't right. I couldn't figure out where that was wrong though. There was a clip that surfaced that people got really upset about, where he's in an interview and he phrases it terribly, but is basically like, he's like, well, we needed a younger late. He doesn't stutter like I'm stuttering, but he makes it sound like Margot Kidder was too old. And I think it was like that clip surfaced, and then somebody found another Margot Kidder interview to try to rebut it of like, no, he was trying to say their love, their back and forth, will they, won't they, was old. So like, why are we doing that again here? And so that was why they did this, but it obviously doesn't work at all. Yeah, convenient that you bring in somebody else younger, theoretically for whatever, more attractive or whatever to get those eyes.
Interestingly though, like, we talked about this a little bit plot-wise. The movie touches on two things that I think could have been interesting plot devices, right? One is the Cold War, like the nuclear armament of the world.
Again, this is, Christopher does this and says that he wants this because Reagan was the president who was like, we got to up. We're going up instead of down. We're not de-escalating. We're going to make sure we are the number one.
And obviously, you guys know, like in the 80s, people were terrified that nukes are just going to start flying at any given second. It was like the mid to early 80s. Late 80s, everyone's like, we don't give a fuck anymore. So by the time this movie came out, everyone's like, nukes. Who cares? We're going into Iraq. We don't care. So that's interesting. Number two, though, and the thing that I don't even think I realized watching this film the first time, that I was like, oh, the sensationalization of journalism
no.
is a really incredibly interesting thing to explore.
Tim touched on it. Yeah, there is a whole thing here about like journalism. There's an actual thread of like what is journalism and all this push and pull of it and like sensationalizing it, the news to get the headline, do the click, and it's like, oh, yeah, they were on to something.
Good stuff.
Here.
And especially watching it today, it's like this is real important
Superman
shit.
is dead. Superman, all that stuff, and the guy being like, no, real journalism doesn't sell papers anymore. It's like even back then they knew.
Anyways, Clark's late to the planet. No one's at their desk when he comes in because they're all in a giant meeting room with David Warfield. Who is this guy? Well, the planet hasn't made money in 3 years, so David Warfield has bought the planet, and he's going to change some things. Doesn't he run the gossip rags? And it's interesting that only Clark, Jimmy, and Lois get seats at the table.
Yeah.
Every other reporter and photographer standing in the background.
This dude's face.
David Warfield?
Yeah. Like it looks like
Is this your secret delight?
No, not necessarily.
Wow.
It reminds me
It's like it's the
of when the bad guy wears the mask in the movie The Mask.
Wow.
He's got such pronounced feature. He looks so easy to draw, so easy to zebra sculpt a 3D model of. Like he is pronounced.
Basically, he's going through the planet.
Look at it. Like
Yeah.
He's
Right,
going through the
man, it's
paper. He's
pronounced.
tearing it apart, saying how it's all crap. It's crap. It's crap.
I know what it is. It isn't the bad guy's The Mask. It's Ivan Ooze.
Hell yeah, my God. Wait,
Yeah, I can see that.
it's not him though, right?
I don't think it is.
I don't think it's him. No, but I think the face looks like him.
Yeah, it looks like Ivan Ooze without the the little.
Yeah.
Nothing. Let's go one picture of this guy on his IMDb.
Gonna happen sometimes.
I guess that's him. Yeah, I guess that's him. And
Uh,
Sean Penn.
so yeah, he introduces Lacey Warfield. She'll be helping his daughter, of course. She's Mariel Hemingway.
I'm going to say something that's going to sound very insensitive.
I love that.
Jimmy Olsen just going to do the same thing for the rest of his life here.
Yeah,
Useless.
Yeah.
I mean, at
This
one
is
point
the
I looked
problem
at it, I was
with
like,
Jimmy Olsen is that like when you cast a kid at it, great, and then a
He's-
decade later, he's like, "Well, you're a man now. Why are you still like being really
weird.
Yeah.
Lane?"
and he's like, there's like a sprig of gray in his hair in one shot. And I'm like, Jimmy, someone got to pull you aside and be like, it's time to go back to college or do something else with your life. Because you're
The
really
photo
old.
editor, yeah.
He's fucking old in this.
Lead the department or something like that.
Yeah.
I digress.
G. Like when you have like a 45-year-old dude, like G. Willikers Clark, you're like, all right,
Well, that's
this
our
is the
old
90s
Mr.
now,
Kent.
dude.
He's always
What are
going to
we
be
doing?
Mr. Kent or whatever.
What are we doing?
I wrote down the quote here of Perry White's like, I'm not going to let you turn this grand old lady into one of your bimbos. Like, hell yeah, Jackie Cooper, you're still trying out there. You're looking quite old as well, but God
Also,
bless
maybe
you.
we'd be more sex positive than that, though, Jackie Cooper. You're right. We don't call them bimbos anymore, okay?
Lois is supposed to go to Paris, as we already discovered. That trip's canceled. Lois doesn't really care until that happens, and she's mad. Clark, I feel like when he stands up for himself here and does the thank you or whatever, he's less nasally nerdy than usual, which is an interesting choice. Again, it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, we're just blending even more into what are we doing and what is separation of church and state here. I like how Lois just keeps on shitting on Clark as she talks to Lacey and tries to explain who he is and that he wouldn't be interested into you. Lacey responds, all men like me. I'm very, very rich.
That's the reason why they like her. That's the reason.
Dude, I just like this is probably the first example of humans not acting like humans when they're walking out and she goes, well, he's not into. Oh, you like him, don't you? No, I don't like Clark. They just met each other. This conversation would never happen on a real planet.
Yeah, it's odd.
With our adversary,
Yeah.
the woman who's come in and making the paper Lois is supposed to love more than anything, a gossip rag.
I clock this as like Lois being protective of Clark and realizing that this person might not be great. But I also love the fact that I again, kernels of things that are interesting. She doesn't in this whole movie. She's like, couldn't give a fuck about Superman because I'm
She's
rich
like Clark.
and powerful. I like this guy who's just a nice guy and also fucking 6'4". Like I just like this dude. I always kind of liked that. Like you look at this, you're like, Lois, you're kind of a dick in this movie.
She is a dick, but Clark is so unlikable. No one can like Clark. No one.
And that's, I guess, Lois's point, right? Is that no one could possibly like Clark.
Well, she lays it out when she's walking with her, like, hey, he's this, and these are all positives. He's a Boy Scout, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
he's
like,
so nice, dude. He's so very courteous. And Mariel Hemingway's like, well, every man in my life up at this point is trying to either control me or be my dad or be an asshole. So maybe
spread out on his desk.
Maybe I do like
Her
this
desk.
guy. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Hilarious.
Anyways,
Sorry, I've just been Googling for a while, just trying to find out the
Google
other
it,
guy
dude.
that this old man Warfield looks like. I see somebody else in my head, and you know who it is? It's in a baseball movie as a kid. You know, there's like this. It's either in Little Big League or Rookie of the Year or an Angels in the Outfield. It's like some announcer guy.
Bob Uecker.
No, definitely not Bob Uecker, but there's an announcer guy in one of these movies.
He was going to say Bob Uecker as well. That's why. Yeah.
Oh, no.
My mind is his mind. I knew it. Anyways, there's a couple of interesting things happening. I like when Warfield calls Clark out for not having the air travel expenses. Oh, yeah, that's cute. That's been done in comics before that I appreciate when they start doing stuff like that.
Wow, scared of flying or whatever he said.
Yeah. Then, of course, the president comes on. They're like, oh, turn on. This should be important. Then there's a bulletin of the president being like, listen, we've tried everything, but we just need more nukes. We are going to get a bunch of fucking nukes, and we are going to be ready to blast anybody off the face of the fucking earth.
I early secret delight for me here.
Oh.
I just love this classroom scene. I just love the fucking teacher trying to deal with these kids and all the kids just being kids. And there's one kid that's just
Jeremy.
real sad. Little
Jeremy.
He's
The
so
man,
sad.
Jeremy.
is my secret delight just because of how absurd, fucking absurd this is. And he writes the letter and then he's given the speech and then immediately the world turns on Superman. What the fuck? How was that the this to this to this, Andy?
Yeah.
How?
I like
J.O. Sanders. That's the guy. That's who Warfield reminds me of. Just very
Great.
pronounced features. Very pronounced. Got him.
Great. No, this scene's so ridiculous of every the planet watching the president say this. And then, we jump over to this classroom in the middle of nowhere or whatever, where, all the kids are distracted. We could write letters to our congressman. And they all laugh right out of the room or whatever. What do you think, Jeremy? What about him? He's gonna know. He's just staring out the window.
What the fuck?
Fucking, it's a suicide prevention ad, this kid. And he's like, I'll tell you what we should do. Superman can stop all the nukes. Yeah, I guess he could, Jeremy, if he wanted to rule over us, the alien overlord. We'll get there in a second, though. Instead, we go from there to the museum, where the museum has a Superman exhibit with a really bad statue they made, and they have one of Superman donated one of his hairs, which is extreme.
Would you do that? Why would you do that? I don't get that.
Superman's
It's
all
cool
about
looking.
education. He's all about education. He wants people to understand
Here's my DNA.
he's an alien. We didn't know back then. We didn't know Dolly yet.
Dolly wasn't there.
We didn't know Dolly.
Dolly wasn't there.
But he has one extremely long hair he's donated that is holding 1,000 pounds. And so the museum tour guide is explaining that he did this, and look how strong Superman's hair is. That's fucking insane, right? Everybody, let's keep going. But guess what? In the back of the group, there it is.
Superman has strong hair is so fucking stupid. Like, I sure. Do I buy it?
So how does he cut it? Like,
Heat vision.
He just thinks about it.
You ever seen Superman shaved from the animated series?
no.
Yeah, he's got a little mirror. Well, I think in the animated series he does it into the actual mirror, but in the comics he has a piece of in one of the comics.
Because when Lex is able to just like cut it, I was like, oh.
Oh yeah. Well, now you're getting to the cinema sin of this fucking thing. There you go. This is actually from Lois and Clark. Good job.
Oh, wow.
But because that is Superman's hair being as strong as anything else is canon. Like there's plenty like Superman for all seasons.
This is just a montage of Superman. I love YouTube so much.
No, in Superman for All Seasons, a very great comic book you should all check out. A 4-issue miniseries or whatever. When Clark's powers are continue to develop, he goes to he gets his like final haircut where the guy does it and the scissors break and he's like, what the hell? And he runs out all scared. Anyways,
I think my secret delight highlight of the week is just Nick getting I'm gonna get a LaCroix with John.
He's just such a character. Like, he's just such a,
What did I do? I don't understand why this is funny.
It was just so funny.
Greg, I'm getting up, I'm minding my own business, and Greg stops what he's saying and be like, what are you doing? Where are you going?
I'm gonna get a.
I just thought you would have something to say about Mariel Hemingway.
She's in the whole fucking movie. I was gonna wait
This
until
is her introduction.
I was gonna
man.
wait until Clark walked.
Lacey fucking Warfield.
I was gonna wait until Clark walked into her office and she was just fucking splayed out for
We're
him.
about to be
My
there.
apologies. I didn't know that that's why you were. I didn't know you were confronted because from
I
my
was gonna
perspective,
sneak away.
Andy, like, yeah.
From my perspective, all I saw was like I turned to the left and it's like I'm gonna get a LaCroix with y'all.
Yeah, like Andy was mid-sentence and you just cut it off with that.
Yo,
Yeah.
Greg was like, "Where you
That
going?" Like,
makes a lot of
where you
sense.
going?
I just
I'm like,
wanted you
"Oh."
here for Mario. She was getting introduced. I figured you'd have something to
You guys
say.
did me dirty on that.
Jesus fucking Christ, everybody. I'm too hot.
Also, these are, I don't think I've ever had the lime LaCroix. They're very good. Would you guys like one?
They're very good. Those
Also,
are
I
good.
do want to point out, by the way, the dream scenario happened, Andy. Is that Greg finally allows me to leave the table so I can go pee.
Yeah.
As my bladder starts to
I gotta pee so
excruciatingly
bad,
hurt. As I started to have a bladder infection because I have to hold it in so fucking long, just so we can
No,
talk
it's the
about
vapes.
just so we can talk about the fucking Meryl Hemingway, who no one has ever heard of before this film except for me, because she was in one fucking weird John Candy movie. I know. And I walk out, and I'm free, and I start to pee as I'm leaving the set. I just going down my leg,
Yeah.
because I'm tortured by this, but I'm such
Bob,
a
you
fucking team player. And Greg, well, your fucking mind is my mind, dude. You know I was thinking about Bob.
I know you were, man.
I leave. I walk out. I open the double doors. I see 3 spicy nuggets from Wendy's.
Oh, no.
Oh.
And I go and I lock eyes
That
with
will go
Coolty, and I was
so
like,
hard
"Hey,"
right now.
and he goes, "They're up for grabs. They're on the correct side of the table." So I ate all 3 of those before I came
Fuck
back.
you.
Yeah, they're gone.
I thought you were gonna say I got like one free. Oh, wow.
No, they're gone.
That's what you get for
fucking
mocking.
gone.
No.
That's what you get for mocking when he left.
I think she was in a movie called Delirious with John Candy, where he's a writer and he's writing, things are happening. You remember that movie?
Yeah.
He hits
Joe
his head.
Drip says no one's going to bring up she's Ernest Hemingway's granddaughter.
She is
I
Hemingway's granddaughter.
assume.
Yeah.
Greg yelling. I knew you would use something.
You know what I mean? It's just like, imagine, it's just fucking Pippen throws up the alley-oop and Jordan's just, I'm going to go get a LaCroix. You know what I mean? No, fucking slam and jam of that motherfucker. I need a tomahawk chop right there. Oh, my God. Anyways, so they're there to get the hair. They've thought this through. This is key to their plan. Lex and Lenny. They are going to do this. And the grand plan to get it is just to smash the glass. Then the super strong hair that can hold up 1,000 pounds, they can cut with normal bolt cutters.
Yep.
Just making no sense whatsoever to what the fuck is going on at
Having
all.
said that, when I was young, I was like, this is the coolest fucking thing ever. That a single strand of his hair can hold that much weight. I just thought that was the
That's
coolest thing
definitely
ever.
Cool. Yeah. It's just such a, I think, silly thing of like, oh, we gotta get cloned. There's this hair. Like, it's just such a bizarre thing. And his hair being strong, everything about this just
I just
bothers
love
me.
that, like, in Superman the movie, like, we need to reprogram these nukes. Let's get costumes, let's get cars, let's do all this stuff. This one, let's get hats and just smash the glass and walk out, assumedly, with it.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to come for us.
There was the curious part of my brain that was like, oh, I wonder how they're gonna get this thing out of there.
Yeah.
And like the biggest wet fart,
Yeah.
Just cut it.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
From there, we go to the Daily Planet, where Lacey Warfield knows Clark Kent's coming to her office, so she decides to get up and splay herself out on the top of the desk.
Did we? I'm sorry, and I do apologize because, as you know, I took apparently a 30-minute hiatus to go eat some nuggets, pee, get a LaCroix.
Well, it's so important.
Did we talk about the classroom sequence yet?
We did. Yeah.
It was,
It was my
hilarious.
secret delight.
Amazing.
Did you know? Maybe I'm crazy. And guys, I know I notice weird shit in movies sometimes, like wigs or like the occasional odd shot. Did anyone else notice the terrible ADR in this scene? Did anyone else notice that for whatever reason, the teacher comes on, she's like, "Hey everyone, what can?" And it's not really matching, but at least it's sort of age appropriate for her mouth movement,
This
right?
child.
Then they come on, "Hey Ricky, Jeremy, what do you think we should do?" "Oh, gee whiz, I don't know. What do you think we should do?"
100% Jeremy. Jeremy's voice is
fucking,
consistent.
dude, the fucking kid in this bit.
we should have gone on to Superman.
They were literally like, I think John Travolta's on set that day. Can we get him to the ADR for this kid? He's like, "Hey, Mr. Miyagi, I don't know what's going on with the nuclear weapons. Oh my God."
I thought the same thing.
It was fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, Meryl Hemingway like this. "What's up?" Just like beef out.
She tells Clark.
Ow. Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Are you? If I walked in and saw Greg on a desk like that, I'd be like, "Are you okay? What's going
Then
on?"
you go on the date with me.
Yeah, I'd
Like
blame
if I like, can you like everybody else is watching, and like Christopher Reeve or Clark sees this. If I'm in the
It's
room,
so
I'd be
awkward.
like, "What are you?
What are you doing?
This is weird." Like,
Listen, he's never. Well, not never. He's had sex twice.
Yeah.
All right. He's got to take the opportunities when he can get them.
killed both of them.
But like, yeah.
Scared.
Lacey, of course, pitches him
Christopher
working on
Reeve.
Metropolis After Hours. He pitches she.
Gotta put Beeve out on the shirt, man.
I don't know if we do. That sounds like something we do, and the shirt doesn't sell at all. Metropolis After Hours. She knows all the fun clubs, and she wants to go on dates with Clark, obviously. And there's the grand opening of the Metro Club tonight, and yada yada yada. There's a lot of detail here, you might say. This would where some of those 45 minutes of deleted scenes would come up. It turned out that in the deleted scenes, Lex has a Nuclear Man V1 that shows up and fights outside the Metro Club against Superman. Superman beats it, and Lex is like, I got to make some improvements to that.
He already made a prototype in that short time.
Why? There's more scenes.
Gotcha.
Just deleted scenes over here or whatever. So that's why there's like Metro Club, the very specific stuff they're talking about. Of course, Lois walks in right as it's a date. A date? A date? Like as they go down the line of that or whatever. But Lois isn't there to see Beeve out. She's there to deliver a letter to Clark because she knows that he'll get Superman to read it. Okay?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Aren't you Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane? Like, I feel like you still got a pretty direct line. But as we kind of skipped over, remember in the subway, and he does the whole, fucking subway's safe, everybody. Lois is doing the thing again of like, Superman. No,
Just like in the waterfall. Yeah.
no mind. Pay no mind to this woman. You know what I mean? I got to get out of here. I can only memory wipe so many people before I give them brain cancer. All right?
Yeah.
He's not impervious to, never mind. Forget it.
Anyways, they read it. It's Jeremy saying, "Hey, Superman, you could stop nukes. Why don't you stop nukes for everybody?" Immediately.
Is that how he read it?
Yeah.
Is that what it sounded
Yeah,
like?
pretty much. I'm paraphrasing. You know what I mean?
No, I don't
The
mean that. I
energy
just
is
feel like in my
energy.
brain, hey, Mr. Superman. Why don't you get all the missiles
I
and
think it's
stuff
them
and whatnot
reading the
out of the
letter.
sky?
You're on today. I love it.
You got to vape, man. I'm telling you. It's so funny.
Lacey goes, "There's an angle to this." Lois gets offended. She's like, "There's no angle here." It's like, no, actually there is. Like, this is actually a pretty interesting dilemma for our fucking planet that we have an alien on who can do anything. Why wouldn't he step in and stop this kind of shit?
Again, a very cool concept.
Idea. Yeah.
And I think that if they were to push it, just not to be Monday morning quarterback, but if they had pushed we're on the brink of nuclear war a little bit more, like for instance, if the first sequence had been a nuke going awry and Superman had to share that, like I think we could have got across that, like, oh shit, like he really should feel the level of urgency. But some random fucking kid writing him a letter
Dude.
and him being like, I really should have a fucking crisis of conscience right now and really think about whether I should. It doesn't make any sense. It's too big of an escalation for him.
He sits down as if he's reading the news of like his whole family's been killed in Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Like the way the mom gets the news.
Like, he's like, earn this. Yeah, it's bad.
Warfield agrees, David Warfield that is, and brings Jeremy to Metropolis, where like just he like lands it from the airport and immediately to the
UN?
lobby of the fucking Daily Planet.
Yeah.
And he's like, "How was the flight?" "It was crappy." "Oh, sorry to hear that." Get in front of the microphones. "What did he say?" I just said, "Why doesn't Superman stop it?" And then amazing fucking headline of Superman says drop dead to kid.
Yeah.
What the fuck? The escalation. It makes no sense at all.
Warfield's just, he's a clickbait guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was YouTube before YouTube existed. He's clickbait.
He's the New York Post.
And Rupert
Yeah.
Murdoch saw that and was like, yeah,
I can do the whole thing here.
there's
This would be
something
great.
here.
Of course, Perry White's seen enough. He puts on a suit instead of his little cardigan, Mr. Rogers sweater, and stomps out saying he's going to go talk to the bankers. Lois has a joke about it. He looks like her dad used to look when he'd go out to ask for a loan.
What he does.
Of course, Superman, unable in any situation to ever just make a fucking call on his own, flies back to the Fortress of Solitude, where, again, now we're going to use the crystals to talk to the Elders of Krypton, but not listen to them, to actually talk to them.
Yeah.
We've established in the prior movies, no,
Video messages.
you can't, but then we bent that in Superman
FaceTime.
2 with his mom, and she walked out, and now we are going to talk to the Elders of Krypton, who, by the way, the Elders of Krypton so smart they let their own planet blow up because
Yeah.
they didn't listen to scientists. I'm just saying, Superman, maybe we don't listen to their feedback.
There's an alt cut where he's like, should I get rid of all of these doomsday devices? And it cuts the guy's like, nah, you're good.
Yeah.
You're fine. You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Alex J. Sandoval popping off. Also, didn't they blow up the Fortress of Solitude in the last movie? In the Donner cut,
In the Donner cut,
In the
they did.
Donner cut, he
Not in
left,
this
turned
one.
around, shot it to death. This one, no. The crystals broke down or whatever.
Yeah,
and then he had
but-
the one thing to get his power back. But again, if you remember, all of that happened off screen. So he picked up the blue. He went there, saw the green crystal, and then in Metropolis he fought Zod. So maybe when he picked up the crystal, he said, "Give me my powers." Ate it. Then barfed it up, but he had the powers, and then when
Like
the
a
crystal
dog.
hit, it then remade the crystal thing, and there you go.
You have to-
I solved it for you.
Here's my thing, though. You have to imagine, like, what's this guy doing on the weekends? Right?
Reading
It's a
Hemingway.
Sunday. He's out there. He's fixing the crystals. He's got a honey-do list.
Oh yeah, of course.
Fine.
Of course, these elders of Krypton say that like you can't do this. Don't do it. You can't.
Yeah, because
Earth
he
is too
shouldn't.
primitive. I wrote down. You're teaching them to be betrayed. Betrayed.
Why?
You're talking to me. You're dead. You're an AI. When I ask Gronk how to do something,
It doesn't echo. It doesn't add echo.
Betray.
Gronkowski?
No,
You know what I'm
Grok
talking
on
about.
Twitter.
No, but I heard him say Gronk.
Oh,
I do. I like saying that better. than
Oh,
Gronk.
okay. That
what
is
is it?
better
Was
than
it Grok?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gronk is better. You're right.
Gronk is way better.
Rob
Hit up
Gronkowski.
Elon and let him know.
Okay.
Rob Gronkowski had like a package of fluid in his head
Jesus.
after a lot of like football injuries. Just like some of my friends.
Anyways, Clark is sitting in his apartment in our next scene watching Russia now. Is they're like, Americans are doing it, we're doing it. Let's get some goddamn nukes up in here in a way we've never done it before,
We're
even though we
escalating.
haven't.
We
You know
must
what I
be
mean?
number one or whatever it is.
And here's where I jump in again, as I hinted at before. I gave you the breadcrumbs. It's cool to be in Clark Kent's apartment. I appreciate that as a Superman fan of like, oh, what's it look like? What I don't get is he has a Tampa Bay Buccaneers pennant, a toy robot by the fireplace, and then on the way out, a Wisconsin pennant.
Maybe
What
it's
the
just-
fuck is going on?
I don't know.
Is he just a fan? Is he so alien?
Yeah.
That he was like, yes, humans enjoy sports. I will put up these random pennants for things that I have no connection to, and I will also buy a robot for baby if baby ever come by.
I just clocked it that, he's been to all these places. Like you have a friend that lives in California, but he's like a New York Giants fan. You're like, why? Just one time he had that one connection to it, and that they're just Giants fans now.
Sure. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, that
My question
it
is
just
this.
seems like he's more of a fraud than I could have ever imagined.
Yeah, right. Like put up a fucking Smallville.
Yeah.
The bigger question for me is, what the fuck does the Daily Planet pay these people that they have jacuzzis in their goddamn apartment?
Well, that was Lacey's.
I thought that was Lois's.
That was Lacey's.
Was it? Because wasn't Lois the one cooking the duck?
Yeah, but no, I'm still. But I have that down as being really fucking weird.
It's weird.
Shit.
That's Lois's apartment, is it not?
I thought
I
it
might
was
be crazy.
Lacey's.
It makes sense if it's
I thought it
Lacey's
was
because
Lacey's
she's.
apartment.
But then why the fuck is Lois cooking the
Which
duck?
was also weird, but I also,
But also-
have in my notes that I thought it was weird that Lacey rang the doorbell to come into her own apartment.
Yeah, it's Lois's apartment, I think. And also that, like, listen, I don't know shit about real estate in New York, but like
Metropolis.
Oh,
whatever.
wait, it is Lois's because remember they're down on the ground and she's like, "Let's." They're up there being boring. Clark, let's peace out. Let's go do something crazy. Huh?
Here's my point.
Carry the show. I'm diving in. I
Here's
need
my
to know
point.
this. We need to know this.
These apartments,
Is this true?
we need to start tweeting at Gronkowski and asking for sure.
I love you, Nick, so much.
But like, what the fuck do these people do? They have balconies the size of apartments that would cost
Dude, it was the
$3,000 a month.
80s.
Dude, I don't know. Lois's apartments are lit. She's got to come from money. She's like a Levi or something, right? Like, give me a fucking break. You gonna looking back for it?
I'm. You need to don't.
Tim, let me ask you this question.
not-
Yeah.
My mind is your mind.
Mhm.
You can live anywhere you want in the world. Or actually, I'll give you two options. One, you can live in your current place that you live right now with your cool theater room. Or two, you can move into a 1980s penthouse that has a fucking jacuzzi in the living room for no reason. What do?
I mean, I'm a big jacuzzi guy.
You gotta go
Yeah.
jacuzzi, right?
Yeah.
But okay.
Jacuzzi.
But
I don't know
Andy,
if I've ever been in
Andy, now
jacuzzi.
1 out of every 2 times you go in his jacuzzi, you get a skin
What?
infection. What?
And he says he's never been in a jacuzzi.
I don't think I have.
You've been in a hot tub?
Lois Lane's penthouse in 1978 Superman movie
never been in
drops
a hot
price.
tub?
Oh, that was actually a real place? The Upper East Side abode is now asking $3.2 million down.
Now that's from Superman the movie.
Well, that would have been.
It's Lacey's apartment.
That's a dope place.
This
Clark,
is
are
way
you
more
okay?
important than this.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes more sense if it's
no
Lacey's
pain, I
because
hate
she's
this
rich.
fucking guy. Yeah, but then why does she ring the doorbell to come into her own place? And yeah, why did Lois I'm Lois Lane? I'm such a great chef. I'm gonna go cook as well. And that's not what she would do.
I mean, maybe she's like, I'm trying to be like, when you bring over like food.
Yeah.
Anyway, as we're getting to the sequence, I'm dreading the shit out of. Oh no, they're doing the
doing the
double date
Gotta
conundrum.
do the double date conundrum.
This feels like another TV episode, man.
Yeah, 100%.
But at this point, right?
It's her hotel suite. Lacey's hotel suite.
Ah, okay.
That explains why she knocks
That's cool. Okay. So my apologies. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Greg, I'd like to apologize to you first and
respect
foremost. Andy, I'd also like to apologize to you first and foremost.
Thank you.
Tim, I'd like to thank you for the LaCroix and also apologize to you
welcome.
first and foremost.
So,
Also,
anyways,
did we just gloss over the fact that Nick doesn't know what Gronk is?
no, well, you missed the joke. We had,
Did I?
we had a
Okay,
whole
good,
sequence
good.
of that where
Love that.
I say
love it
Gronk.
so fucking
I
much.
say
Great,
Gronk.
cool, awesome. I'm so happy that that's the case.
0 for 2, you guys are with me right now. I just want you guys to know that.
Hey, I wasn't here. I blame me.
Are we wrong to think that though?
No, not at all.
Clark's got a bunch of weird
No,
penance in there
against
for
you.
no reason. Lois comes over and he's like, "Why are you here?" And she's like, "The press correspondence dinner, the awards." He's like, "Oh, I forgot all about it, and I don't want to go." And she's like, "Well, too bad, Clark. Put on your penguin suit and let's go." And then, you gotta say something?
Nick has his hand raised.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize. Hands down.
Thank you very
We're not
much.
at the place where I want to
No,
criticize.
we're
Hands
not
down,
there.
man
yet.
down.
We jumped. We
We're
got
not
lost
there
in the hotel suite business. From there, he's like, "I'm gonna get some air," and she's like, "Okay." And then he grabs her, and then he walks to the edge, and she goes, "Clark, it's not that bad," which I thought was funny. And he jumps off, and then lets her go, of course, because again, to Superman, we are all ants just to be played with, and like let us think we're about to die. Flies back up, super suit and glasses on. She takes them off, puts it in her little the belt of her outfit, and then we start flying around. We just fly, and not only are we flying around, we're flying everywhere, and we are 100% not paying attention to time zones because it's bright as fuck. It's evening in Metropolis. It's still bright sun at San Francisco.
hilarious.
We're at the fucking San Francisco Bay Bridge. Invincible covered this of trying to fly a human being that they can't breathe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like somehow he does it.
They go
We're
in
in the
space
mountains.
later.
We're doing things. We're trying again to just shake the audience. Be like, remember how much you liked this in Superman the movie?
Yeah.
We're doing it again, way cheaper, way faster with
No poetry.
no poetry.
I haven't seen this movie in years. So we get to the point where he like drops her and then comes up as Superman with the glasses. And her reaction is kind of not what I would expect. It's kind of surprised, but not really surprised. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's cool. I totally forgot that Lois knows that Superman is Clark Kent in this. And this is just their way of flirting with each other. No. This is how he chooses to traumatize her yet again.
Of course, we get all the way back after, again, he throws her at one point and goes, "Hi, hey, bye-bye." Like, what are you fucking doing, Superman? You fucking psychopath.
Yeah, this all sucks.
Now,
This-
again-
they are relying so much on the music hit to make you care about this, and it's
But-
so bad. It was such a poor choice to even have this happen.
There are sequences like when you as a writer that you go, you got to look at it discerningly and think, is this going to actually make my audience kind of dislike this character? Because if you think about this critically, or at least logically, he just wants to ask Lois whether or not he should do what he thinks he should do. But he has a relationship with Lois. They know each other. He could fly to her as Superman and be like, "Hey, Lois, can I take you out for a cup of coffee real quick and ask you really quick? Like, we're friends." But instead, he's like, "Got to do it right now." And it's fucking weird and twisted how he does it. And then
And they never really have the conversation.
Yeah.
And then you get to the double date moment
That's hilarious.
where you go, "Oh my God, he's got to go on this double date." Does he? Couldn't Clark just be like, "No, I don't want to go," or Superman be like, "I can't make it. I'm doing something." No, so he clearly wants to fuck with these people somehow, right? That's the only thing I can think about it.
Got to keep it up.
So the scene ends with them flying into the apartment
Yeah.
Yeah.
with one of the most god awful shots I have ever seen. The windows. I don't know if there's any way we can get footage of this. It must be on YouTube. It's literally just like a mannequin. You see him on like the left window,
so
and it's just
funny.
like two mannequins together, just not even moving at all.
Oh,
like,
that's hilarious.
and then,
I didn't catch
then they're
it.
like on the other side, and it's you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Andy? Oh my god, I'm gonna try to find it.
Very fascinating comment in the Twitch chat from Drisky Business says, wait, I just watched the seltzer ranking KFAF, and I thought Nick hated LaCroix.
When in Rome.
Okay, I got it.
Awesome.
Let's see this.
That looks...
I don't mind
I
it.
think it looks
I don't
that
mind it.
bad enough to call it out.
I don't mind it.
I'm looking again.
I think you're justified, Tim.
Come on.
It might have been them.
it was not.
It might have
Because
been
of the
them.
speed that they're going. It's why I laughed so hard in some of the flying sequences in 2 and 3 where in part 2 where they are chasing, where the bad guys are chasing Superman,
Yeah.
and they're just flying so slowly across this. It's so funny looking, man.
Of course, we land here, and he's like, "You don't even know my name." Yes, I do, Kal-El. You remember everything. And he goes, "Never set one of them above the rest. Love all humanity instead. It's not fair." It's like, yeah, again, maybe you shouldn't listen to the guys who killed their own planet.
Yeah, they don't fucking know what they're talking about. Those guys are a bunch of fucking incels.
Anyways, though, Superman's like, "Well, let's see if you can."
You know what I
live-
mean?
Yeah.
Were they fucking?
No.
Probably not.
No.
In their
Let's see
weird
if you
white
can-
Colt outfits?
Can you live through this kiss to erase your memory this time? And so he really lays one on her this time, then goes inside and comes out as Clark. And I'm out here because you wanted some air. That's okay. I don't want to catch cold, which is weirdest Clark voice in a long time. It just doesn't sound like anything.
Scene is weird. I like where he's like, "Oh no, I don't. That's okay, Lois. I don't want to catch cold." It's like a dick thing to say, but really funny.
From there, the one, the only, the 45-year-old Jimmy Olsen is taking photos of the little boy Jeremy, who is getting a hot dog or whatever.
It's just me.
She-
I'm getting one of these.
She
fine
told me to get some
Metropolis
photos
hot
of you
dogs.
around Metropolis. I don't know what else. Oh, fuck, it's Superman. He's like, "Hello, Jimmy. Jeremy, do you want to take a walk?" And Jeremy's like, "Yeah." And so they just walk to the UN. They gather a crowd behind them. By happenstance, Lois and Lacey are driving in a car right outside the UN where they get out and they walk in. By happenstance, the UN is in session
meeting,
right now.
yeah, in
And, like,
session.
it's like, bro, so many leaps of just terrible storytelling here, right? And again, to the thing, the shots are like clearly not, whatever. You know what I
Greg,
mean?
what's he here to say?
Well, he's here to say exactly what every free nation would want in the world.
Something wonderful.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Lois Lane, Lois then runs up into the press gallery with Jeremy, has Jeremy sit on her lap. And it's like, where's Jeremy's mom? Jeremy's never met Lois Lane. That's a weird...
Well, I mean, again, I think we've established that Jeremy is a 35-year-old Italian man from Jersey. So he doesn't mind sitting on Lois Lane's lap. If you know
All right, fair enough or whatever. Superman walks all the way down there. I wrote in my notes here, God, he looks good as Superman. This is my
does.
secret delight. He looks great.
He looks so good.
You'll need a sponsor. Everyone raises their hands. And then, what's he going to say? Something wonderful, because Lois is so in love with... Again, a very... manic, I guess, Lois. I feel like we get a lot of different looks at Lois.
Yep.
And this is another one where if you told me there was months in between shooting, I'd believe you. Because I feel like Margot Kidder looks different scene to scene often. Hairstyles and just face. Superman comes down and says, I'm a visitor. I've been a visitor on your planet for a long time. As of today, I'm no longer a visitor anymore. I'm a dictator. He says, effective immediately, I'm going to rid our planet of all nuclear weapons. And every nation
Rousing
of the
applause.
world stands
Thank
up and
God.
claps.
Thank God he's doing this. They're so excited.
Quest for peace.
It has to, everybody's so cool on the internet and so talented. Someone has to have cut the footage of this movie as a horror movie. And if you haven't, do it right now and send it to me. Because, this is injustice, right? This is just Superman being like, you've all had your chance, human ants, and now I'm in charge.
Yeah,
And I'm
this
going to
is
make
him taking over. This is step one to
He
the
might as well fly into the
tyranny.
Oval Office as Zod and sit down.
Yeah.
Having
Because
said
again,
that, kind of a good plan.
No, it's a good plan, but again, writing 101, you're rewriting something that makes me not like your character. Like, he's doing this against the will of every single nation.
They're all cheering.
It's
The UN's cheering.
The
The president of the United States is not in the UN. He's not.
Yeah.
You have to imagine, who was it, 87? George W.
No,
W.
he
Bush?
it would be Reagan still.
It was Reagan still?
Yeah.
Reagan's like, we're shitting kittens now because there's no way he's going to get them all away. It would be pandemonium. Every government would be fucking freaking out because you have to remember, 87. The only thing stopping us from annihilation was mutually assured destruction. That's it. And like, is he gonna get them all? I don't know. And then somehow they all start launching them. Are they doing that to help?
Let's get to that in 1 second. The movie presents it as a good plan. We all know Superman is virtuous, so it seems like there's that vibe to it, right? But it's just then the actual realities of Superman deciding he's decided what's best for every human on the planet, where you get into a sticky situation
With no ramifications. That's the thing too.
Sure.
It's like, again, that's why I think it would have been better if they had pushed it. Like, nukes are flying, and he has to stop them, and then he goes,
So
I have
that's
to
your
take these
point,
all
right?
out.
Like a sub shoots off a sub shoots off a nuke. Superman catches.
For what reason, though?
Russia
Yeah,
shoots
it's like,
off a nuke. Superman dominates it, and it's like, and it's got this hefty garbage bag in space filled with nukes.
By the way, I love the visual of that, though.
I think honestly,
awesome.
one of the better
coolest
visuals of the
things.
entire, like, because that is that movie magic stuff. But yeah, it looks fake and shit. But like, there's something. That's
But it's
like,
cool.
Oh, there's a level of artistry to
Yeah,
it.
Again,
yeah.
I'm with you of like, again, this narrative disconnect of like, wait, why? But are we testing nukes all the time? Like, we're building them, sure, but are we shooting them off on test sites and do whatever?
I mean, we test ICBMs, but like, are they nuclear tipped? Like, do they have I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah. They did here though. Superman puts him in the bag, does the spin, throws him into the sun.
Bowser spin, throws in the sun. Awesome. I was like, this is so stupid. Love it.
We then jump to Lex,
push it.
who is no longer 200 feet underneath the best real estate. He's in the best real estate. He's out of prison,
Dope
on the
penthouse.
lam, living the high life with two blondes as he walks in. He walks up to all these different arms dealers that are in the nukes
How did
thing.
he get in here?
You know what I mean? Like, Lex, you don't need to do the crimes. You just got it already, bro. He comes up there. It's a bunch of the nuke guys. He explains how they're going to make money off of this. They're not making money now. He's going to do it, though, because he's figured out how to clone a nuclear man that he is going to put the DNA of Superman onto the thing. Superman will grab it and throw it into the sun. Important to realize, of course, Lex had this plan before he knew Superman would throw nukes into the sun.
Right. Yeah.
He knew that he needed to get Superman's DNA to make a nuclear man to put on a nuke, but he needed Superman to throw it in the sun, which he never gave him a push for.
You know, I'll headcanon this a little bit.
Okay, please do.
All he needed was a missile to aim at the sun. You don't need Superman to throw it at the sun. You
I
just
mean,
need
what
missile
if Superman's going to stop it then? Superman sees a nuke going, he's going to grab it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
In any other universe,
Good point.
these other world leaders see this dude walking into their secret lair where they all are conspiring to do crimes, and they say, "Shoot that," and he's dead. Like,
But this is Lex's lair, right? I thought Lex called a meeting at his
I
lair
think he
with these
invited
three
them.
guys.
Well, they're also not like they're like arms dealers.
no, but when
No.
he walks in, they all.
I gotta be honest.
Oh, did he take
A
over their
movie
lair?
shouldn't have two buildings that we're not sure who the owner is.
Fair.
Do you know what I, mean?
I thought when he
Fair.
was,
It's fair.
I thought they all reacted like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, who let you in? I thought they all kind of reacted that way, but maybe I guess it was his
Maybe.
way. I don't
Maybe
know.
he took over the penthouse from them.
That's
Maybe
what
it's
I
a
thought.
co-op.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. It's a cool penthouse though.
Yeah, for sure. Lenny's there.
So you know, I like this scene. It reminds me a lot of Batman Forever, where
Sure.
with Drew
Two-Face.
Barrymore and
yeah.
what's her name?
Yeah.
Two-Face comes in.
Yeah, I like that one. That's a good reference.
that
Good
a lot.
reference. But guess what? We're gonna make a nuclear man, and he's gonna be great because he'll be strong. He'll be able to pierce Superman's skin, and he'll make him sick.
And best of all, he only works during the day.
Get to that.
Because if night happens, he's useless.
Get to that. You know, well,
Yeah.
Lex still got the power. You know what I mean? We then jump to like some real weird science, mad scientist bullshit of Lenny and Lex taking the fucking egg
The
of
primordial.
Superman and putting it into this thing and doing that thing. Then, of course, to explain why Nuclear Man will come out in a full
clothes.
fucking costume. They have this little thing and there's a computer on it, so it'll make him a costume. You know what I mean?
He's like, well, that
What the
won't cover him, Uncle. It's not enough fabric to cover him.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
the
yeah.
computer will know how to.
Honestly, I kind of love that they were like that. Someone out of all the leaps in logic in this movie, someone was like, "No, we have to explain to the audience why the super bad guy has a super suit."
People are gonna be
We've
pissed.
never once explained to the audience why Superman has a super suit that's always there, but we have to get this out. And also, I think it's partially because every single time I see Nuclear Man for the first time, I think he's half naked. because they really made some of his costume fleshed out.
They fucking make him a
of it.
goddamn baby. You see him go
Yes.
through the stages of life. It's insane. We're not there yet. Instead, we get the line from John Cryer, which I like. You know what this makes us, Uncle Lex? We're going to be, you know what this means, Uncle Lex? We're going to be parents. We cut to Lex easily sneaking into a test facility. Why is everyone testing? Nobody knows. Lex knows all the ways to trick them into firing it. He knows codes. He knows this. He hits the thing,
Lex.
shoots over their head, and goes, missed us. I like that. That was cute, but I mean, slapstick stupid as shit here, right? Of course, Superman grabs it. Superman throws it into the sun. It explodes. It's Nuclear Man. He's got great hair, long nails, and pure hate.
God.
But he's also got a super suit.
It's a dope super suit.
Right here, one sec. Almost got you, Greg. Man, you really caught me off guard with that. That was good.
We should. And we practiced the song, but we
I'll
didn't
tell you
practice
what.
when it.
Here we go. The cape is too long.
Super suit or pooper suit.
The red is just wrong.
Super suit or pooper suit.
The fabric looks bad,
Super suit or pooper suit.
but the logo's really rad.
Super suit or pooper suit.
Super suit or pooper suit. Super suit or pooper suit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another podcast within a podcast, Super Suit or Pooper Suit, where we rank all the super suits of Superman in review. So far, we haven't had a miss. We said Superman and Superman was a super suit, and Superman 2 was a super suit. Evil super suit in Superman 3 was a super suit. What do we think of Nuclear Man?
I love this suit.
I mainly
This is
just
weird.
I love my secret to
I
light is
love
hair.
it. Yeah.
I love that
This dude's
mullet.
great.
Yeah,
It's
the hair's
weird.
good.
This dude looks awesome.
Reminds me of like I was gonna say Lex Luthor, but Lex Luger. Lex Luger.
okay.
of course.
It's the same kind of hairstyle, right?
Yeah.
I've always thought the whole nuclear guy. I just think it looks cool, man. I like him.
I disagree. I don't like the suit.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the exposed arms.
I love it.
I don't like the logo.
The logo's the only thing I don't like. I
Me
like the
too.
exposed arms. I like the kind of like crotch V going up into the cape.
The
I like
lo-
the little arm wrist things.
The logo reminds me. The logo seems like something that medieval warriors would wear.
Yeah.
like over their kind of chainmail or something. But
Yeah.
I like the exposed arms. He's ripped also,
He's
so that
jacked,
helps.
dude. Yeah. I like it. I find it off-putting that it's mostly flesh toned, but I do think it works.
Okay. Well, looks like then
In my
let's have it.
opinion.
That's a super suit. I stand down, everybody.
Wow.
I lost, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
the
it's
feathered
very big
hair
of
is
you.
very nice. I do
beautiful.
appreciate that.
Kevin, I just dropped into assets the Bendis Nuclear Man when he put it in there. To
Bruce
make people,
Wayne Brady in the chat says, Mark Pillow, the actor that plays Nuclear Man, is a super nice dude. He was my coworker until a few months ago, and he still does conventions.
Wow.
That's awesome. What does
Wow.
he do now? What do you do?
What
Yeah,
do
what do you-
what
how is that
do? That's
possible?
interesting.
There he was when he
Look at
popped
the
up.
little
looks
nails. Look at the
awesome.
claws.
Looks awesome.
So anyways, there you go. Nuclear Man's there. From there, we go down to the one, the only, the gymnasium. We are at, aerobics were all the rage here, and that's what we're getting.
Oh,
Clark
yeah.
and Lacey are out there working out. Clark's wearing a whole bunch of sweats so he can hide his physique.
This is an episode, man.
He's uncoordinated. Lacey keeps trying to urge him on. He says no, he won't do that. He eventually leaves. This is when Paul the trainer shows up. He's a complete asshole. He calls Clark Clarky, embarrasses him by having no pain, no gain, that he can't work out because he got pushed up on the machine. This is where Lacey introduces the idea of the double date that's going to be at her hotel. Thank you, everybody, for standing by while we confirm that. That's the kind of stuff we won't get wrong on in review. Of course, Paul wants weights. Clark throws the hardest ones. Not those ones, Clark! Oh, sorry, no pain, no gain. We get out of there. No,
Don't like it.
didn't need this. We didn't need this at all.
Bruce says, I work for a liquor and wine distributor in Houston. He just retired, but they used to mention his acting career in sales meetings.
Nice.
Planet Houston.
Pretty sick.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all
cool.
connected.
I thought for a while here that the trainer was hidden on Clark,
Oh,
like because he was, he does the Clarky thing, and then Clark goes, wow, it was really nice for him to help me out. And I just thought like, oh, he was like coming on to him, like attracted to him, whatever. But then it immediately threw all that out the window when he's being a dick to him and
Yeah.
making fun of him.
this is when Nick's got up on
Fucking
his.
Mark Bello was jacked.
Damn, dude, holy shit.
Dude had a fucking physique.
Anyways, now we jump back to the penthouse that I think's Lex's still, but maybe it's the three guys. Again, Lex keeping such a low profile is having a Bridgerton dance lesson with a woman dressed, and they're playing like the harpsichord record, and then we hear the swoosh of Nuclear Man, and he bids her adieu. Nuclear Man shows up. Lex calls himself father. Nuclear Man. And the first thing he does is has Nuclear Man light his cigar. Like it's just strange that like Lex knows every ability this guy would have, and that they're already silently communicating. Where he's like hasn't put up his hand. Nuclear Man has all his capabilities and facilities. Like he knows what's up. I don't know what's going on of it. They just know all this shit. As we already talked about, Nuclear Man has Lex's voice, of course. This has been brought up. What are we looking? Oh, Brandon Routh with Nuclear Man. Very
Yeah,
cool.
it's kind of fun.
Nuclear Man immediately tries to switch it up. You are nothing. I am the father now. And this is when Nuclear Man, then Lenny shits on him and he gets spun around. Breakdancing. That's kind of cool. Then he walks out of the direct sunlight and powers down immediately. What a design flaw, Lex. We never thought this one through.
Yeah. No mention of it. I mean, he's like, yeah, look, this is. It's one of those things where like sometimes I'll fuck something up and I'm like, yeah, I meant to do that, and you guys are like, no, you didn't. You didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
You fucked that up.
Yeah.
Nobody calls him out on this.
No, I mean Lenny's not gonna. He's an idiot.
But also the whole theme of storytelling and the storytelling device of you are not the leader, I am. You think you just because you create like I am the powerful one. I thought that was going to be played with a lot more. Then it quickly just gets shut down. And like
you have to imagine. You have to imagine the longer cut. Lex Luthor like loses control of him. Right.
Yeah, and that's why it's so bizarre that they would even introduce that as a possible thing that could happen, which then never ever happens.
Right.
Annoying.
C'est la vie. From there we go to the double date. We've kind of already covered this to death. It's terrible. Plays like a bad episode of Lois and Clark. Clark shows up and he's a 20 broken to pay for the cab. He goes down. Lois has got a bunch of terrible questions from Mr. Warfield. Yeah, go ahead.
I've never seen Lois and Clark.
Yeah.
Heard a reference.
The New
before.
Adventures of Superman.
Okay, so that's what it's called.
Lois and
So
Clark. The New
Superman
Adventures
is
of
in
Superman. Oh yeah.
Okay, because I was about to say if the whole show is just like having to deal with bumbling Clark, like I don't know. How
Oh no.
anyone could
It's
watch
very
that.
much a Superman show.
Interesting.
It was a vehicle designed around Clark and Lois. Will they? Won't they? Terry Hatcher carrying the whole picture. But no, it's a Superman show. Yeah, there's a lot of Superman in it.
I remember being a kid the whole time thinking, why am I not watching this? This is
I watched
they're
it.
doing comic book stuff on television. That's awesome. I just never like got around to it as a kid.
It was very much rom-com, so I mean it was very, like will they, won't they? So there's
And it's and
That
Tim
guy.
Dean Cain, yeah.
Dean Cain,
And
yes.
Tim, this TV show is why I was assuming all these 4 movies had them as a married couple the whole time. Or, I just always thought of them as a couple together instead of this will they, won't they for 4 movies.
Man.
Or were part 3
How
she
did you
wasn't
take
even
it
in
when the New 52 didn't put them together? Instead, he had a relationship with Wonder Woman.
Wow.
Way better.
Whoa.
I always like Batman with Wonder Woman.
Justice League animated series,
Love
good
it.
stuff there.
Tell you
Susan
that.
Eisenberg.
This is
wow.
like a heat there because she's like, I shouldn't like this guy. He's kind of a
He's
bad boy. He's like,
So heat.
I got to do it.
So much
I'll
heat.
tell you what, Lois and Clark, I always couldn't get past the fact that what's his name, Lane Smith was in it, and he was
awesome.
He's awesome, but he was the asshole in My Cousin
Great
Vinny.
shades of Elvis.
He's the asshole in My Cousin Vinny, and I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
like
yeah,
him for
of
that.
course.
I never forgave him.
He was the dad and son-in-law too.
Anyway, I fucking
That's
hated
right. He was
Clark
good in
Kent
that.
getting pulled by the guy in the hotel.
Right,
Like,
yeah. So let's
awful,
just run
awful.
through. Yeah, so let me just run through. Yeah, there's this whole back thing and forth. Say something nice about her dress. Oh, neat dress. Oh, Clark. Superman arrives. That's a very attractive outfit. Fucking stay in your lane, Superman.
Yeah,
What is
be
that? That's
fucking
not.
cool,
that's not even
dude.
something you normally. I wouldn't say that to
You're like,
anybody.
would you get some red kryptonite again, you fucking weirdo?
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
that's
red means
awkward.
Go. Superman, and then Superman's he's gonna heat the duck too quickly to get out of this quicker. And then he can run out of there.
Which to me,
He's way too comfortable on the couch too. He's all leaned back very
Yeah,
much.
he's
no,
got
but in
beat
that
out.
sequence, I'm like,
Beat
wait,
out.
but don't you got a heat vision that's visible? Like you can heat vision through walls.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm
he
with
can
you.
read
No, I'm
both
with
things
you.
with his mind, and he's God.
Yeah.
But like anytime we've seen him try to light something on fire, we see the visible thing.
Yeah.
And then he uses X-ray to see stuff through walls.
No, it's all
but it's
awful.
never together.
This is
Like,
all awful and
yeah.
unlikable, and none of this is fun.
How can one man be so square and so delicious? The women in this universe, horned up
Horny.
beyond belief
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
at all times, and I kind of appreciate it.
Again,
got it.
good for Mel Hemingway. She's attracted to the square guy.
I mean, we all know he's a beefcake. We see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We saw Superman 3. We saw.
I'll just say this as a man, and Andy, maybe you can chime in on this. As a man who's
as a man Andy, maybe you can chime in on this.
As a man who's sub 6 feet tall, we get it. We get when a woman is like, oh, I love him so much. And you're like, you just like him because he's 6'3".
Tall guy, yeah.
He's just a tall guy. How many tall fucking goons have married really cool French Canadian, like very established, like very nice, you know, fucking great future ahead of them? How many fucking goon bags have done that? And you see it and you just think to yourself, what a fucking waste.
Undeserved. Goon
How many
bag.
like inappropriate, slimy little Italian fucks have married Amazonian women? I got Nick and Mario. Who else are there?
Touche.
Clark gets caught by the bellhop, wheeled back out. Lacey just gives up, comes up, rings the door to her own hotel room. Superman then, this one killed me because we saw the heat vision through the wall. We've seen him build. Superman rings the doorbell with his, by just looking at it. There's no TK, there's no nothing. Rings the doorbell with his eyes. They go to do that. He runs out, comes back in as Clark. Clark knocks the phone down and then does the hello after he's already knocked. It's like, what the fuck is going on? It's not even like, it didn't work, the slapstick in 3.
Yeah.
But at least I was like, I can see where that would work. This one is just not working. What are we doing? You know what I mean? Then, of course, Lex uses the old frequency again. You know, let's just repeat that. A lot of repeating in this franchise.
Yep.
Let's repeat that with
the Jumbotron.
the Hello Dolly. Yeah, then that one, look to your left. And I'm like, how does he know where the fuck he is? And you might say, oh, well, he's sitting, look to the building to your left. That could be any building. It could be whatever. Sure, but why does he take over one screen in Times Square of Metropolis that he knows apparently Superman will be able to see? Like,
and at this moment, I'm like, so is anybody seeing that?
no, it's only Superman can hear this frequency and see this frequency.
It's like a,
So see the frequency as well.
Yeah.
Well, because
Is that not
Superman
clear
can
to
see
you?
like UV, you know.
Superman shoots the shit out of there, gets the fuck out of there. I gotta go, everybody. Bye. He shows up at Lex's apartment, and he goes, and then Lenny goes, "The dude of steel, boy, are you gonna get it? You've broken all the laws of man, Luthor. Now you've broken the laws of nature too." I'm like, all right, that's
Cool.
good. That's cool. Whatever.
Cool.
We got
But weird, but like, does it feel when he's talking in this a little outdated?
yes, 100%.
That was an awkward thing for him. Like, this is the late 80s, man. We're not in like the 70s anymore. Like, you can't
But
be
I feel
talking
like-
like this is a 50s
I
newsreel.
feel like that's an interesting thing we haven't talked about is that Superman 1 and 2 for sure, and I'm trying to think of anything through me, but Superman 3 also has what you're talking about in, oh, no. Actually, I'm wrong. Well, Superman 1 and 2 are timeless. They could be happening in any time period, it feels like. Superman 3 with the computers,
It's
okay,
80s,
we
yeah.
get it. But this one has like the 80s fashion going on where you're like, oh, you're contemporary
you
now.
see, the second we're jazzercising, we're like, okay, this is rooting this.
Exactly.
for sure.
I watched part 3 and I think, happy birthday, Polly. Like, that's what I think.
Where did the light show from?
There's one bit here I like where Lex yells, Lenny! Like he yelled Miss Tessmacher, and he's right there. He goes, what? I'm like, that's funny. Nuclear Man shows up. He fucking roars. Roar, right? Lex reveals the plan that he's going to kill Yo, and then I'll make all the money rearming the world. Nuclear Man walks, and now he's got a new power, too, of fucking sunny footprints. He's leaving fucking sunburnt footprints everywhere.
You got to respect like the broad vision of Lex Luthor, but also the very narrow vision of Lex Luthor. I'll make all the money in the world rearming the world. Just take over the world. You have Superman. You can literally be a dictator now. Like this, nothing can stop this guy.
They grab each other and then smash through the top of the terrace out into the thing. Nuclear Man starts flying. Superman flies up behind him and just punches him in the small of the back.
I'll never forget. Back, Greg, I'll appreciate this. Back in high school, my buddy Clay used to have a backpack with all his books in it. And we used to make fun of him because he was a small guy, and so the backpack was like twice his size. And one day, unprompted for no reason, he walked by my friend Todd. My friend Todd just hit the backpack, and we just laughed at him. That's what this reminds me
The
of.
kind of shit we would do too, for sure.
I don't like that Superman is like in free fall. Don't get it.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
Unless you're punched the fuck
fight
down.
choreography's
you're
never
just
been
both
good
falling, you know?
in these movies, and it won't be good here either. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what happens, right? Where it's like they fly from there into, or they fly from Metropolis to China in the Great Wall of China. Nuclear Man fucks up the Great Wall of China just because with his fucking whatever powers, his nuclear powers. Superman catches the one person who falls, puts her back up there, then fixes the damage with his eyes.
Yeah.
He can move faster than a speeding bullet. We've seen him do the warp.
Yeah.
He's going to now have just the ability to build with his eyes.
Of course.
They said we need to give him more powers. That's what we want.
Gotta make this movie cooler.
Nuclear Man flies away. Superman catches up, grabs him by the feet. Like, again, just like, let's make this. This looks like when me and Ben play fight and play wrestle. You know what I mean?
This is where I was laughing a lot. Yeah.
I'll grab him and pull him. Nuclear Man turns around, freezes Superman in a crystal.
This is horrible.
Then he blows the ice block away. Nuclear Man flies down to the volcano, into the volcano, causes the eruption. I like the lava flow here. It's clearly just soapy water with a red light, but I'm like, okay,
some
whatever.
Power Ranger shit for sure.
Yeah, but it's like Superman breaks out of the ice. He comes down. His solution to this, as you know, it's coming and about to kill a whole bunch of people, cuts the top off another mountain, comes up, corks the first volcano. I'm not sure if that's how it works. Comes down, super breaths the lava to stop that, then turns, and I like this, speaks Italian to the people there.
Like, ciao, bella, come stai? Va bene, scusi.
From here, Nuclear Man flies back to Metropolis. He picks up, and again, I think we're playing pretty fast and loose with time zones. He picks up the Statue of Liberty, flies it from Ellis Island to downtown Metropolis, where he takes it ass over tits and decides to drop it straight down. We get a lot of people on the street going, "Oh no!" You know what I mean? The one Daily Planet sign to reestablish over Metropolis.
Hilarious. Just like the picking up the Statue of Liberty and throwing it. It's like, all right, good for you guys.
Superman, grabs it, right? And then he flies it back, and then Nuclear Man very slowly catches up to Superman. And Superman does one of these like, oh no, fuck, he's gaining on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's in the ocean now. I understand it's a monument, but we've established, because earlier he was swiping at you and you were scared that you got to, he doesn't. He's like, I can't drop the Statue of Liberty. It's too important. So he flies and then just, and Nuclear Man scratches him on the back of the neck. Like, that's how we're going to hurt Superman in this motion picture. I do love that there was a point here where Superman does a half-ass like swipe, like, get away. You know what I mean? Again, when you're trying to keep you're on the phone, your brother, your friends are trying to fuck with you, like, get away. Superman comes down, drops the Statue of Liberty where it needs to be. Then he collapses in front of it. Nuclear Man comes down and just wails on him a little bit, and then kicks Superman away. Just kick. That's the end of Superman and Nuclear Man's eye, and the cape blows back towards the Statue of Liberty.
What's this supposed to represent? You know what I mean? Like, this movie didn't earn Superman losing his cape and flying away. Like, no.
We go back to the planet where Warfield has made Lacey the publisher of the Daily Planet right now. Someone brought in the cape. They bought it. Then Lois busts in and says, "That's it, I'm quitting," with the newspaper that says, "Is Superman dead?" Question mark. Cool. Lois quits, grabs the cape, storms out. Lois, he said, "Let her go." Warfield says, "Let her go. I want to fire Kent too. He's never there." This is Lacey's had enough, and she says, "You know what, Daddy? Stuff it." She walks out there, apologizes to Lois. Has anybody heard from Clark? No, we haven't. So Lois gets the bright idea to check on him. You know what I mean? This is like, they went through a whole, you're not returning calls. You're not doing this. I will finally go check on you. That's
proof of life.
Yeah, exactly.
He's in eating like some chicken noodle soup.
Exactly. He's real sick looking in there. He's wrapped up in a blanket in front of a fire with his robot.
Realized your bib has a little cape on the back of it.
It does have a cape on the back of it. Thank you.
So cute.
Thank you. Lois, of course, he won't answer the door. Lois breaks in with a credit card. And then she goes, "Somehow something pulled me here." Mm-hmm. And it's like
I've seen a super boner in this place before.
You know what I mean? Like,
can't
what
remember
are we?
it.
World's greatest reporter. Like, you know, and it's like, what? And so I guess.
But her brain's been scrambled so many times.
And that's the thing. I guess what we're playing with here is that she's actually not here to see Clark at all. She's here to get a message to Superman, and she knows that Clark could be the one to do it. And that's what it's the subconscious that has been erased twice now.
Right.
Again, we're getting some real Dr. Light identity crisis shit going on here. That she knows to come here, even though she doesn't know, and she clearly doesn't give a shit about Clark. So she gives a pep talk to Superman through Clark. And this is just a terrible fucking Clark and Lois conversation in general. Mm-hmm. Of this, like, okay, so you don't care about me, you're only here for Superman, but you don't know it doesn't matter, blah. And Clark is just like fucked, right? He's scared. He doesn't even want to go out there or whatever. Lois gives him the cape and then walks out. And it's like, this isn't a confidence issue. This isn't this isn't Tobey Maguire not sticking to the walls, right? This is like, no, I'm dying. I have nuclear whatever going on inside my wounds. You know, my raccoon wounds here. I can't get back out there. You know what I mean? Nuclear Man. So we go back to the penthouse where Lex decides he no longer needs the 3 nuclear arms dealers, assumes controls, tells them they're fired.
And they run out.
Yeah.
So goofy.
We go back to Clark's apartment where Superman is now fucking cancer patient, emaciated, gray hair. You can see it's like, damn, y'all put a lot of time into this special effect for him, and this is how we're using it? Like, why didn't we see him on death's door when Lois came, but he put up the thing and had to hide away? Like, instead, we saw him fine, and 2 seconds later, he looks like this, but he grabs the green crystal. And he's like, I guess it's finally time to use the last of Krypton's power, which I've used 5 times. I don't care about these people or whatever. Okay, whatever.
That should rapidly progress,
100%, right? Nuclear Man, then, he wakes back up, and there's the goddamn newspaper that says, new publisher for your favorite paper. That's the top story headline, is Lacey's the publisher. That nobody fucking knows or cares about, right? He sees it. He sees it, and he goes, I love this woman. And again, there's something to play with here in a better movie.
Yeah.
Of if, like, what they should have done, of course, and somebody earlier was like, are they going to mention it was going to be Bizarro? I don't think it was. Remember, the failed Nuclear Man that got cut in the deleted scenes looks like Bizarro, but it was never Bizarro. It's the usual shit they did with these movies, where it was like, we're going to get close to Brainiac, but not like call it Brainiac.
Secret of the Ooze.
So it's like, here we are
Bebop
with
and
like,
Rocksteady, but it's not Bebop and Rocksteady.
They should have just fucking done Bizarro, and then had it be that for some reason through the DNA and whatever process they used, there are these things at a molecular level for Superman that Bizarro knows he should be interested in Lois Lane, so he sees this new, and he's gonna go that way. But like,
no, they should have just been that, but he's interested in Lois Lane. Like, Marilyn Hemingway shouldn't have been in this movie at all.
Yeah.
And
now, my favorite part about this.
But we would have gotten no beef.
My favorite part about this, right? Nuclear Man V1 right there. Is that Nuclear Man now goes to the Daily Planet through the front door to try to get Lacey. Superman shows up and just knows this is his thing. Because when he goes, where's the woman? Superman just goes, give it up. You'll never find her. Now, Superman could be thinking on his feet. Maybe he's thinking it's Lois, whatever. But the fact that we never come back to this or anything, like, I don't buy that. Superman's just there and he knows some shit about this, right? So, okay, you're not going to give her to me. I'm going to fuck up Metropolis. And he starts blowing shit up and starting fires.
Where's the woman? If you don't not tell me, I will hurt people.
This is my favorite part of the movie because, again, this is Gene Hackman's voice doing a terrible job. Because it is, where is the woman? And he goes, you're not getting it. He goes, if you do not tell me, I will hurt people. Just delivery's awful. Followed by 20 seconds of fire, explosion, cars, people screaming, getting hurt, explosions. And then Superman blowing ice air to put out a fire. And then looking at Nuclear Man and going, enough! Stop it! The people!
Don't do it! The people!
And it's just like it's a perfect example of just awful editing that wasn't even being paid attention to for a guy to go, if you do not tell me, I will hurt people, followed by hurting people, and then Clark going, stop it! The people! And it's just like awful, man. It's so bad.
Very bad.
And so, on top of that, there's this scene where like police cars drive up and people slide across a hood of a car. And then using his TK abilities, it's not that he rewinds time. It's supposed to be he pushes them back.
But it looks like he's rewinding time.
Because they just rewound the footage.
Yeah.
And then it just blows up. It's fucking so weird.
So bad. So god-awful.
I just love his reaction, man.
He also makes yeah, he's also trying, he's aping Superman too again. I'm just like, no, the people. But he's like so not into it this time.
Yeah.
He makes bazookas go limp too. I like that. You know what I mean? People are
Oh,
floating.
that was so gross.
People are floating in the air with the TK. So Superman uses his TK to bring them down. I was like, oh my god.
I have TK.
But Superman finally agrees. He'll take. I'll take him. I'll take you to her. Right. Nuclear Man goes super slow mo through the ceilings to what I believe is supposed to be. I believe the Daily Planet But this is clearly the Luthor set of he went up into the Luthor
the elevator.
penthouse.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay.
Well, that is weird, yeah.
Superman tricks him to go into the elevator, shuts the doors, rips it out, flies into
Silly
space.
as fuck, the fucking gotcha.
She's not in there. Don't get in there. Don't.
But it ends with him then taking the elevator to space.
the moon.
To the moon.
What?
Yeah. I love the sequence. I love everything here. It's so slow.
Again,
So fucking slow.
Superman
But it's awesome.
gets it. Like, he gets that this man needs the sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And so he brings him all the way to the moon and drops him. And then is like, job's done. Mischief managed. Not, I'm going to dig a big hole
Fixes
on the
American
moon.
flag.
Or take you to the dark side of the moon.
Do any of that. And there's clearly light already on the moon. Like, we're not on the dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's why. Like, why not take him there? It's like you're being lit by something.
Yeah.
Also, just still a band-aid for the problem, right? Even you put the guy on the dark side of him, he's not going to die. What happens if someone goes and gets him?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I agree with Greg. Take him to the dark side of the moon, then dig a hole and put him in there.
Yeah. And then you sleep every single night wondering if this is the night that he figures out how to get out. You know what I mean?
Really gonna throw off
It's
like
really
the
just in your head.
gravitational pull and the.
Oh,
the-
don't even get me started
the
on that one.
tides and-
That's how we solve the fucking problem. Superman fixes the flag like you said, but then Nuclear Man is like, fuck that, and comes in and beats the shit out of him. He starts slamming Superman's head into the moon. They're both getting dirty as fuck. Clearly there's gravity here. Shit's going up and down, but whatever. We're way past
They're doing
that.
their best to do like
Yeah.
we're
My
slow-mo
favorite is at
fighting.
one point Superman stomps on his foot. Superman
Yeah.
hits
Yeah.
that. Okay. Kevin points out that the dark side of the moon is not always dark. So there you go. There's
You dig him in
nuclear
a hole
blasts
on the dark side of the moon.
Or just, and I say this, just we're spitballing here. He's in a dark elevator. Don't drop it. Maybe don't drop it from fucking 400 feet up so it splits open.
Weld it shut.
Yeah,
Put it
weld
in
the
there.
shit shut.
Put a
and
bunch
just
of
leave it
blankets
there.
around it. Yeah.
Then the fight continues, and eventually Nuclear Man drives Superman into the moon like a stake through.
I
the
love
wall.
that. God.
Awesome.
God.
In a very Looney Tunes
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah,
way,
yeah,
you know.
We go back to Metropolis. We go back to the Daily Planet, where in the middle of all of this, granted, I know you didn't see it, but it's happening at the planet and in Metropolis. A fucking Nuclear Man fighting Superman in the street, burning people alive. Lacey's like, Daddy, we should have less sensational headlines. And then he pushes back and she goes, no, Daddy, our business is journalism. It's like, all right, Lacey, like, well, I don't think you haven't really gotten, this isn't earned.
You're not
or
winning
whatever.
me back.
And then he's like, she warns, of course, that their sensationalist headlines are going to lead to a disaster. He goes, what kind of disaster could we possibly help bring about? Boom! Nuclear Man busts in, grabs Lacey, flies her into space.
Into space.
The fuck? And the first movie, they kind of tried to explain. No, they didn't try to explain. Greg explained to me.
I gave you a loose interpretation of
she has
why.
the fuck. What was the word
That
you used?
he can
Force
basically, yeah, he has a force field that he
Yeah,
can extend around things.
You said something.
It
that,
sucks.
like,
It sucks.
Rubbed me the wrong way, but
I don't like it.
yeah, but they don't even hear. They don't
No.
explain that at all. And then at some point, they drop her
Yeah. Oh yeah.
into space.
Yeah.
And she falls.
It's insane.
And,
Kind
but
of.
remember,
She'd be so
Superman,
cold.
Take that
Superman
Red
gets
Bull.
out of the Earth or the moon, and then puts the flag back up. Very important before leaving.
Had to do that.
Because you remember my story of a 4th of July where I was Ben's age probably, and I had a little American flag, and I was leaving Joe and Carol Jackson's house, and it got caught in the door, fell to the ground, and my mom flipped the fuck out of like, you never let the American flag touch the ground. And I was like, I'm 3 or 4, and this is ridiculous, Jamie. You better slow your fucking roll. You know what I mean? I don't know. You talk about some goddamn brainwashing.
This is a real question, though. And Kevin,
my
maybe
God,
you could
that's
Google this for me. Can you Google the flag on the moon? Because it had a T.
It had a Dow.
Yeah,
like a
on
Dow
top.
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
that how it normally is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That way it
so
would
it
always-
just sits. It just so you can always see the flag.
I thought they did that.
Just
so
to
they-
like fake the gravity.
fake
That's what I
gravity,
thought. Okay,
yeah.
never mind, Kevin.
Yeah.
You don't have to-
Yeah,
Okay.
in real life, yeah, because there is gravity on the moon, so it would inevitably fall.
Oh yeah, I guess
eventually.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
I want to catch up to my notes. Sorry. Yeah, Lacey's in space, like I said.
You're gonna be like, let me catch my notes. Chill out, Jimmy Kennedy.
Oh, that's so cool. Look at that. Faded flags on the moon.
Yeah, right.
Because the sun, maybe they should have think about that. Next
Should've
time we
thought
put a
of
flag
that,
up
You know
there.
what I mean? Next time.
Yeah.
It looks like the flag is surrendered.
And when
now.
are we
Think
going
about
back?
that.
Damn.
So
These colors don't run.
Superman puts the American flag back up. Then he does the amazing, horrible, let's make him more stupidly powerful. And
Push
he
the moon.
pushes the fucking moon
Which I heard might cause a lot of problems.
out of orbit. I mean, it depends if you talk to Sean or Kevin. It pushes the moon out of orbit to block Nuclear Man, who then drops Lacey. Superman, during this eclipse, of course, grabs Nuclear Man, drops him into a nuclear cooling tower where he falls perfectly into a little hole that then powers up the planet for like 4,000% some bullshit. And that's how we got rid of Nuclear Man.
Wait, so I had a question about this because this is one of those moments like Andy was talking about earlier. I'm like, did I miss something? Because he goes back and says, I outsmarted you, Lex. You didn't think that the man made of nuclear power was going to be impervious to a nuclear power plant, but he was, or some stupid shit like that. I'm like, how did this stop Nuclear Man?
He was sent back to being nuclear. He's nuclear.
It's dark down there.
Dark is nuclear.
Dark down there.
You would think that if Andy,
It would power him.
you were made of red vines, right? Or let's say something you love that you can
Pickle.
understand. Sour Patch Kids,
Sour Patch Kids.
and we call you Sour Patch Man, and you're deliciously sweet and sour, or whatever, and devilishly sour,
Yeah.
whatever they say, right?
So, yeah, sour now, sweet later.
Sweet later, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every time you're walking around, you're like slapping Greg and then hugging him, right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like
yeah.
the commercial, right? And we said, we got to stop this guy, right? We got to stop this guy. And you look over, so Mike, of course, rolls up in his Forerunner with fucking just a ton of Sour Patch Kids in the back. And we go, that's what we'll do. We're going to
We'll put him in there.
We're going to throw him into it. That's going to stop him.
Well, it's just like such a, again, like,
It may be stronger.
It's such a-
Yeah, right? Don't you think it
It
would
may
make
be
it stronger?
sweeter and more sour.
it's a
Wow.
children's solution.
Yeah.
Of just
It's
like,
a lazy
I'd
writing
throw him
solution.
into the tube. What does what does that giant thing actually do? It's a cooling thing, right? It's not gonna,
Like, do you know how you kill a nuclear man whose only weakness is darkness? You throw him into a black hole. You do something crazy like that. You got to come up
Bury
with the
him on the
fucking
moon.
thing that stops the thing.
we go back to Metropolis. We go back to the Daily Planet, where Mr. White is taking down the Warfield sign. Warfield comes on like, "What are you fucking doing, White, you idiot?" And he's like, "I maybe you've never heard of it. I bought a bunch of shares, and now I'm
This was hilarious.
I'm the I talked to every bank in Metropolis, and as newspapers fail and news organizations are just being crushed around here and being like, I talked to the banks of Metropolis, and they agree that the Daily Planet's an institution and public record."
This was a really great sort of ending to this C plot that was so present throughout.
Oh yeah,
Of
definitely.
Mr. White really looking, dealing with the financials of all of it.
Yeah,
At least it was better than the bingo. Was it bingo?
Yeah, Django or Bingo, whatever.
Whatever the
Happy
fuck it
birthday,
was.
Bobby. When they roll, Bobby, when they roll in the thing, and it's like,
Okay, I'm caught up.
You like
Yeah,
that?
For the Superman 3, the bingo machine. Happy birthday, Bobby.
Happy birthday probably came up so many times, and it was always
And he
appropriate.
said Bobby. It's Polly.
They
It's a
go
different movie.
from there. We go back to the UN building where Lois is covering. Clark shows up just to get reactions from the people out there, and he forgot his tape recorder, and he walks off. And 55-year-old Jimmy Olsen goes, Mr. Kent, you'll never change. I hope not. Blah 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 blah. Superman then lands and walks back into the UN, and he goes, "There will be peace when the people of the world want it so badly that their government will have no choice but to give it to them." Spoiler,
Wow.
Superman. Nah,
You're wrong, bro.
Not really gonna happen that way. From the future, let us tell you that's not how it works.
I do really like the line of that. I just wish you all could see the Earth the way I see it.
That is
because
good.
to me, it's all one world. It's like, yeah, there's
That's
some good
cool.
stuff here, but
Yeah,
it's just like
100%.
being where we're at in life,
then-
it's like, oh man.
and then someone, it was a journalist, raises their hand and goes, "Hey, Superman, did the whole ridding the world of nuclear weapons, like, did that work out how you thought it was going to work out? That work out for you? Okay." There's no ramifications for him doing this at all. Nobody has a question. Give me a quote.
No, they don't. They powered him. They said to go do it. He did it. It didn't work. What are you gonna do?
RaGu. Bad movie, BaGu.
Nice fucking try. Shut the fuck up. That's not how the movie ends. I just had to sneeze and blow my nose. All right. Lex Luthor.
I'll be honest with you. I was playing that. I was like, I don't know if we finished the movie.
We then.
I don't think they finished the
Lenny
movie.
and Lex are running away, and Lex is very expensive, I assume, antique or whatever, right? And he's like, "We're gonna be on the run for a long time. Lay low for 2 years." And Lenny goes, "Good thing I brought my drums." And Lex grabs his drumsticks and throws them out of the car. I was like, again, it's not. It doesn't hit like Superman the movie, but I liked it all the same. Superman flies in, picks up the car, takes them immediately again to Boys Town. He says, "Father, Can you help this guy? He's gone down a bad path. And the father goes, every boy can be helped.
And man,
And you know that is not, that is not that. Superman, you better be busting that ring up in a while. Let me tell you.
I just say
Hindsight's 2020 on the nukes. Hindsight 2020 on these Catholic priests and what's going on over there. Okay.
Superman's gonna be on the news soon, being like, "I had no idea this was happening."
I just thought I was doing the right thing. Superman, of course, then flies Lex back to the chain gang as well, because of course doesn't need to go to the cops. Doesn't need to go back to court. Yeah, Mozart's back, and he drops them there. Then Superman flies away and smiles at us as he flies around the world.
RaGu BaGu.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a podcast within a podcast that started it all. Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys, where we rank all the villains of the Superman in Review universe. Currently, the list looks like this. Number 1 is Zod, Ursa, Non, and Lex from Superman 2. Number 2 is Lex Luthor, Otis, and Miss Tessmacher from Superman. And number 3 is Gus, Vera, Lorelei, Ross, and Bad Superman from Superman 3. Where do we put Lex, Lenny, and Nuclear Man?
Dang, dude.
He had the nails.
He did have the nails. I mean, fuck, dude. I really don't like a lot of these bad guys. But I like Richard Pryor more.
Yeah, put him at last then, huh?
I'm putting it last.
There you go. I'm with Tim.
Done. The motion passes.
Andy?
Damn, that's crazy. I mean, they're all they're all terrible.
I think it's another one of those, like the potential of having Gene Hackman back, and
it's so bad.
did not work out there.
Cool. Now it's time to rank the movies. Currently, number 1 is Superman the movie, number 1. Number 2 is Superman 2. Number 3 is Superman 3.
There is a discussion to be had here, but I would, in fact, put it dead last. I think this movie was not as bad as I remembered it being, like, or getting ready for it to be. I can see through my childlike eyes why it would have been cool, and yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. You do get some Superman stuff in here, the subway, the space stuff, yada, yada. But in general, I would say, as a movie, I liked, like, Clark and Lana better than I liked what they're trying to force here with Clark and Lacey. What even the lowest stuff of backtracking and being so insulting to the previous movies, also in this.
Yeah.
Like there's enough going on here that I just don't. I gotta put it last.
I would have to put this last too. I think this is barely a movie. And say what you will about the third one, at least it was like it was too much of it. There's too much of that movie in that movie. And I always love the third act of the 3. I always love the sort of their interpretation of Brainiac. I always love that fight scene. It always terrified me. And I look forward to it every single time I watch through it. And then there's just no redeemable qualities to this movie at all.
Man, yeah.
It's tough.
Earlier, Andy, I was saying between. I think I gotta put this last.
Yeah. I mean, when I wrestle between was it so bad that it's good? Are there any redeeming qualities there? Like, I still think that this is a worse put together, especially with all of the missing stuff in it. With all of the sequences where you go, I had to have missed something, and you just didn't. That's just how the movie was made.
So it is. We're in order for these movies so far.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Next week, we are adding Jurassic World Rebirth to Jurassic Park in Review. And we're also doing James Gunn's Superman, adding it to this with Superman Returns the week after. Very freaking excited for that. But until next time.
Have a super day.